Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and now I'm here with Andrew Velez, River Brown, John Tortorelli, and we have a special guest. Pierre is on the show. Long time no see, host of Numbers on the Board, teed up his brand new show. Make sure to check that out. We're glad to have you on the show. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be back. I don't need no intro. They know me as Pick a Side P. We back in the building.
Talk.
Let's get right into what we do, man. We don't need when you family, you don't need no big whole stuff. We ain't got to do all of that, man. Just introduce me like one of the other guys. What's up?
P, I gotta say, I love the way that you start teed up. I'm Pierre, Pee Wee the Plug Andreessen.
Mhm.
Every episode, you gotta let them know who you are. But that's what I was expecting Joel to come out here and do. Why Pierre, Pee Wee the Plug Andreessen? Outside the fact that it is your name, but I feel like we know you as Pee Wee the Plug.
Because we keep like kind of leveling up, and then you get into meetings and stuff. We meet people, and it be so they don't be knowing what to say. So I'll be just letting everybody know. You can call me Pee Wee the Plug. You can call me Pierre, whatever you want to call me. You know what I mean? But yeah, and it'd be the same way for me. You know, I think when the first time we met Peyton Manning, I was like, he like Peyton. I'm like, shit, am I Pee Wee the Plug right here? Am I Pierre? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you know, that's just my full thing or whatever. Anybody feel comfortable calling me, they can call me whatever, you know.
Pee Wee the Plug is a great name, but definitely should go by your actual name.
Nah,
Because
for
your actual
sure.
name is a great name too.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I am getting older. You know what I'm saying? I just turned 30 last
Damn.
month. So
I'm just joking.
um, so you know, at some point, Pee Wee the Plug is gonna sound crazy. But then I look up and you got like 2 Chainz is almost 50. Yeah, we still call him 2 Chainz. You know what I
It's
mean?
true.
Jay-Z is almost 60, and we're still saying Jay-Z. So yeah, it's whatever. We'll see.
Hove, other nicknames. Lil Wayne is still Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Tunchi.
Seal
Yeah.
is still Seal. Just goes by Seal.
Then I feel low. I have to drop down eye level. Okay, perfect. But yeah, so it don't matter, man. You know, Plug, Pee Wee the Plug, Pierre P, Goat, Unk.
Talk.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like you're Unk now that you hit 30?
Oh.
Have you felt like Unk for a while?
I felt like Unk for a while.
Damn.
But I think 30 solidifies it. I don't mind the 30 talk. I don't mind. You know, I like being old. I'm trying to get to 40.
I respect
saying?
that. My brother just turned 30, but I tell you what, he makes 30 sound like a death sentence. He's just always tired. He did just have a kid, so give him the benefit of the doubt there. Shout out to my brother, of course. But damn, I tell you what, he makes me dread the idea of being 30. It just doesn't sound enjoyable.
No, it's fun to me. I like being 30. It just feels like every goofy, immature molecule just leaves your body. I'm still a little goofy here and there, but it's just like you just don't care. And I feel like the older I get, the more that'll happen. When I get 40, 45, 50, that I don't give a fuck about anything. Just nobody can say anything. Nobody can do anything. I just go. And I kind of like living that way because I remember kind of like caring about everything.
I feel
I
like
still
once
care
you
about
age,
everything.
it just everything feels so fast. Like I feel like when you age, you just start aging so fast. I remember like 10 years ago playing at a park and I see somebody that's like 26 and I'm like, man, damn, he's really 26, bro. And then I'm at that age now and I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't take my teenage years, my early adulthood. I didn't appreciate it all that much, but as you age, I don't know if it's just the old head in me. I just feel like things you start noticing around you kind of get a little bit worse. Like I feel like gaming has gotten a little bit worse. Just sports gaming, because not all gaming. I don't want to just bracket gaming into one kind of pool, but I definitely think sports gaming, the graphics are as realistic as ever, but the gameplay and just how much fun you have with the game is at an all-time low.
Yeah, I think the gaming companies kind of are in a bit of a pickle because it's like when we were kids, all we wanted was good graphics. Like just improve the graphics, just improve the graphics. Now the young kids are so used to graphics that they want everything else. And so it puts these gaming companies in a situation where they're trying to please everybody and you're never going to be able to do that. And then they also now with the microtransactions are trying to really rip our pockets off. So you know, like I said the other day, it feels like every time we ask 2K for something, they do something that we kind of like are like, nah, we didn't mean that. So it's like we want the game to be more realistic. They say, okay, we're gonna put essentials in the game. You can wear essentials, and it's like that's not what we meant when we said realistic. Like I just don't want to be able to dribble off somebody's foot when I'm trying to run up the court. I want that realism, and then they're like, oh, okay. So I don't know, man. I feel you on that. I just think that yeah, today's generation, these kids just are so spoiled with everything that they just keep demanding and demanding and demanding, and these companies are trying to please them, trying to get the money. Because if you please the youth, they'll go crazy. Remember when Fortnite was hot? The kid, how many stories you heard about a kid like using their mom's credit card and everything like that?
That's a fact.
So you gotta kind of sell to the kids. So they're not really thinking about us no more.
John, were you one of those kids?
I wasn't one of those kids, but that was my age demographic where all of my friends were doing that. And I was the one that was like really hyped up when I had like $25.
Crying, John. You were like 13 when that game dropped.
Yeah, I was a freshman in high school.
Oh
So
my
going into high
God.
school. So like all it was that year is just basketball. I get home from basketball and brother Nick's playing Fortnite on one side of the room. I'm playing Fortnite on the other side of the room. He's 7 years older, so even he was spending money microtransactions, and I was a little bit too. But when you say that, P, it's my exact demographic that you're talking about. So I laugh.
Early Fortnite was peak. It was the best time to play Fortnite.
I missed it. I was so ass that I was just like, y'all got it.
It started to get so good, bro. It's like Marvel Rivals now. It's still really good, but there's a lot of sweats on there because it's the #1 game right now. And on Fortnite, it's the same thing, bro. Like once you got 2 years into the game, everybody knows how to build. It's so crazily that if you don't know how to build on their level, you cannot win one-on-one fights.
Yeah, I used to be hyped when I used to figure out how to snipe. Like do the 4x4, the little platform, the little ramp, so I can go out there and I could snipe. Riv, how are you doing, dude? I saw baby Riv out there. How's he doing?
Yeah, man, I'm in the doghouse right now. I'm Daddy Rivio right now, man.
Love that for you.
He's in the back screaming and hollering. So, I ain't going to be talking too much, but I'm going to try to get in here. Look, screaming again. But I'm going to try to get in here as much as I can. Happy to get Pee Wee back on the show, screaming again. Just happy to talk, man. I'm happy to talk some sports. I've been feeling good, though. I had a field trip today. We went to Branch Brook, the skating rink. Bust my ass about 5 times in front of some 8th graders. They was flaming me for sure. But
that's big where y'all from?
Well, skating?
That whatever the place is that you name, that's like a famous place where y'all from.
Oh, Branch
I've never
Brook?
heard of it.
Nah, it's just one of the few rinks we got left.
Okay.
Oh, so wait, it was ice skating?
No, roller.
Got it. I never rollerbladed a day in my life.
Oh, ice skate. I'm
I was gonna say, bro,
I can't be doing that.
I ate it ice skating when I was young. I said, you know what? Never again. I'm sticking to land.
Ice skating is hard for sure. Very hard.
I picked up snowboarding actually.
I've never done that.
I told the guys this. I absolutely ate shit. Going down the hill, it was my first time snowboarding. I was feeling like the man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm going down, feeling good. It's like my second time going down. I'm zooming. I'm absolutely torching this mountain. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. You know what? This third run, I'm just sending it. I'm not even thinking about it. I hit this little dip. And when I hit this dip, I get air. I wasn't anticipating that. I wasn't ready for that. The board comes from underneath me. I land dead on my shoulder. Right now, it is still messed up. I just came back from the masseuse. She was like, oh, yeah, you really messed your arm up. Dude, I never got a massage. Usually,
what was her name?
Inez. Shout out to Inez. I hope she's doing well, honestly.
Age range?
Oh, no doubt. Come on. She might have been in near 30, 35. I'm not sure.
Pierre want all the information.
I'm not done. Description.
She had glasses, a little bit of an oval head, curly hair. Not sure the ethnicity. Let's just assume white. Not sure. Inez, though, gives me a little spicy vibe. That being said,
a drop of spice, yeah.
A little, no doubt. God bless her. She was doing the Lord's work. And usually you get a massage and it hurts, but it's like a good hurt. No, this massage was like, no, I'm in pain. I got to breathe through this, and I just got to get out of there alive. But
sound like you need to go to the doctor.
Unfortunately, I feel like you're right, P, but I'm just trying to avoid that as much as I can. But got softball season coming up. As the guy, you just got to play through injury. Ironically enough, I'm DHing for the first few weeks. Name me in the outfield. When you got legs like this, when you got the arm like I have, that's why you got to take care of it and make sure you're ready come playoff time.
I like that because when I played, that's what I was. I had a
center
cannon.
fielder, right?
Yep. I wasn't the best hitter, but I had a cannon for sure.
That's what's pissing me off, P. I can't, I'm throwing, I'm really trying to get my normal throw, and it's not feeling right. That's why I said, let's go to the masseuse. Let's get it taken care of. Maybe do everything I can before going to the doctor, before the doctor tells me, yo, you really messed it up. Your rotator cuff is cooked. We need surgery. If I hear that, I'm going to shut down. So let's just do all the precautions to get back onto the field.
Avoid surgery, whatever cost on the shoulder.
As your social media manager,
yes,
I hear some content. We got to get some footage of them games, man. We got to get a softball game vlog, game day. We got this. This sounds like some content, man.
I'll tell you what. I've been thinking about copping a GoPro. Oh,
that would be real good.
Especially because I play in the outfield. You just kind of get the whole bird's eye view.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been seeing other content creators go in there. They had the GoPro on. They're playing shortstop. That dude's a legend. I'm blanking on his name. I'll show him some love.
We did it. Two or three summers ago. We were playing baseball. The podcast and all of our homies, and we put on a GoPro and shit. And I did some center field shit. We were just making little mini games. You know what I'm saying? Who can have the best fielding at shortstop, the least amount of you get an error, you get out, last man standing type shit. We did the same thing in the outfield. Went to the batting cages. We did some baseball content a few years ago, but we had the GoPro, and it was super, super, super dope.
GoPro's not that expensive anymore. It used to feel like it was the most expensive thing in the world. Now it's really not. And the camera quality is crazy. I wish I had a GoPro when I was going snowboarding, because trying to hold your phone out while going down the hill for the first time,
that's dangerous.
Not wise. I will be honest with you. That's one of the reasons I ate it. That being said, P, I like where your head's at, because my head was in the same spot.
Now, on this episode, we're going to do an NBA mock draft, just the lottery picks, because we're not going to know the order of the draft, honestly, but really outside of the top 14, we're really not going to know the order. I was watching a clip of Teed Up, and Pierre, you and your producer, Chris, you guys are just rattling off names of old college players, these moments that I forgot had happened, and you're the perfect guy to do this mock draft with us, because I'm very excited about the prospects in this draft. I'm a big Jeremiah Fierce guy out of Oklahoma. He's my guy. But the first overall pick, we all know what it's going to be. I'm going to pull up the mock draft simulator right now in front of me. And I was thinking that we could do this maybe one pick, one by one, but I think it might be better if we just collaborate on it all together. So in the mock draft simulator, the first pick, the Wizards have the first pick. I think it's obvious where they're gonna go.
Dylan Harper? Nah, let me not troll. Of course, it's Mr. Cooper Flag.
And this is the place that I actually want him to go to the most. Pierre, do you have a place that you want to see Cooper Flag at the most?
I would have to agree with you. I think Washington would be really nice. Charlotte just has too much going on. LaMelo can't stay healthy. Brandon Miller is now hurt. Mark Williams and his medicals with the Lakers just make that a mess. Jazz, I have no idea what they're doing. They're not god awful because they're well coached, but still just kind of like a bunch of shit just thrown together. And then I kind of like the Wizards. I think the defensive upside too. You have Sarr, Flag, Coulibaly, George, Bub. You got the two vets, Middleton and Smart there. Jordan Poole, Corey Kispert is still there. That wouldn't be a bad little situation out there in Washington. I'm not against somebody out of nowhere jumping up either. I love that type of shit in the draft. But yeah, I like Flag with the Wizards.
Joel, you and I were talking about it when we did our live, just the two of us. I really like the Blazers. Obviously, I feel like they're building a nice core with their young players that they have. The way that Denny Avdia has been playing recently. Obviously, Tumani Kamara taking a leap in his game. I really would love Cooper Flag in that situation, especially because they've really found a defensive identity. He would fit that perfectly. Give him another ball handler.
If that happened, Who would you want to see lead? Because then you would have Flag, Tumani, you would have
Facts.
Denny.
He would take Jeremy Grant's spot.
Jeremy Grant facts.
Jeremy Grant is barely playing.
Yeah, he would just play at the 4.
But then where do you put? So now
Shaden,
Tumani comes off the
Scoot,
bench.
mhm.
You put Scoot, Shaden, Tumani, Flag, Clingan.
So
You
then
gotta
where's
start
Denny?
Denny.
Where's
Yeah, Denny's
Denny?
got to start. So you're gonna have Tumani come
I
off.
forgot about
That's
Denny.
what I'm saying. They loaded everybody.
Tumani can come off the bench, and I don't think that would.
He can. Yeah.
I think Tumani would come off the bench. The last team I want to throw
Hot
out
take:
there is.
Shaden Sharp could come off the bench.
They both might have to come off the bench because you didn't name
Anthony
Anthony Simons.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I think
Simons,
Scoot doesn't start though. I think it would be Simons, Denny, or excuse me, Simons, Shaden. I like running to Denny, Cooper, and then Clingan at the 5.
I feel like the Blazers have a lot of young talent that they're trying to be the guy, that I feel like it'll kind of get in the way of Cooper Flag just being the guy. Like, I think if he's on the Wizards, it's clearly his team. He's running it. With the Blazers, with the way that Denny Advi is playing, who knows if this is going to translate into next season, but Scoot Henderson was a top 3 pick and Simons is still above him. Shaden Sharp, he's really shown some flashes this year, even if he's inconsistent. They just have a lot of players. Like, they're going to have to trade Grant, DeAndre Ayton, maybe Robert Williams, and Tamani Kamara. He's been excellent this year. Like, they just are loaded with talent. So I don't know if like they're like one of the few teams that I don't know what they're going to do in the draft, because it's like, what do they actually need?
I would love Cooper Flag in Brooklyn, man. I think Brooklyn, for me, just from bias, is like just getting him on the East Coast. You needed a star in the East. We already have so much stars in the West, so much young talent. We have OKC, we have Houston, we have San Antonio. Like, let's bring Cooper to the East. I think Brooklyn, with the amount of capital they have, with the amount of draft picks they have, Jordy Fernandez is over there. I really love Cooper Flag in Brooklyn.
I'm with that 100%. Coaching is oftentimes the biggest thing for a player developing, and they clearly have that this year. And one thing I like with what Sean Marks has done is keeping some players like Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, who can really kind of complement him. So they do have a good foundation if they're able to land them.
Now, the second overall pick, we have the Utah Jazz. And really, what are they going to do? Because Dylan Harper is probably the second best player in this draft. But if you draft him, are you giving up on Keontae George? He's Isaiah Collier's backcourt mate. What are you thinking here, P?
Man, like I know out there, y'all have a big following. Somebody's a Utah Jazz fan, and I'm not trying to be bogus when I say this. Like, this is a team that I just wish didn't even draft in this range, bro. Like, keep them out of the top 3. Because you're right. If you get Dylan Harper right here, which I would say take Dylan Harper just because he's best talent overall. But you still have Sexton, you still have Clarkson. I don't know why you have these guys. You still got Collins. Then you got Laurie, who you was able to keep. You got the big fella from Auburn, Kessler.
Filipowski.
You got
Filipowski now.
Filipowski. You got Taylor Hendricks, who hurt himself.
Get well soon, King.
You got Isaiah Collier. You have Keontae George, Cody Williams,
Right, Sensible.
Cody
like Williams.
Oh man, bro. But yeah, I guess you have to take Dylan Harper. But please, basketball gods, give them like the 4th pick. Keep them away from the top 3.
Give them Kaman Maluach.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
No.
I'll be honest. Keontae George is not stopping me if I'm
not at all
taking Dylan Harper. Like, I'm not even thinking twice about it.
No.
Isaiah. No, I'm not saying you saying that. I'm just saying like at this point, you take best player available. He walks in and he's probably your second best player. And like maybe your best with the way Laurie has played this year. He's been inconsistent, and plus it's a bad situation. So I don't even want to look at Laurie in that type of lens. The situation is just not good. But like Pee Wee's mentioned, I don't know what Utah is doing. You look at Brooklyn. They kept Cam Johnson. That was cool. They kept other players like Nick Claxton. You look at Utah. There was no point in keeping Colin Sexton. There was no point in keeping John Collins. Stuff like that. So I think Utah is in a funky situation where, you got all this draft capital. You're probably going to have money in the next 2 years, but your direction, I still don't see it.
Can I ask a question, though, when it comes to teams like Utah? Are they in the business of keeping this excess of talent because they are in such a small market, because they know it's going to be nearly impossible to bring in solid role players. And obviously, I look at Utah and their role player university, but yeah, we thought that they would be sellers at the trade deadline. They would go and they would get assets. But when you go and now you're finally succeeding in our situation where they do have the number 2 overall pick, they're finally going to get a strong difference maker in the draft. Is this what you were planning for? Trying to get one of these franchise changing players and have strong rotational players
But
around
Drew,
them.
if I'm
No
not
wonder
mistaken, I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me, but they brought in Mike Conley before. They had Bogdanovic before. You know, they brought in some Jordan Clarksons there. Like, they've been able to be competitive and bring in guys and, of course, develop guys. So I don't think they are a small market, but I don't think they're not devoid of bringing in quality role players. It's the superstar factor, the star factor. They're not big on that. And, you know, Dylan Harper, I think, can be that.
Yeah, that's the thing with me. I feel like Utah's kind of littered with C+ to B- level prospects. And that's why I feel like they do really need this pick here to kind of make it clear who they're going to build around. And then, like you highlighted, P, it's been time for a year or two to move off some of those veterans. Like John Collins is a really talented young player. He's 27, 28 years old. But I don't really see how he fits off of their current front court.
The only thing I don't like about the situations like this, I think everybody kind of said everything that can be true in a way. Yes, Drew, that was a good observation. They are a small market team, and not only are they a small market team, they're a team that's in a weird thing where, like, there's one thing to be a small market team, but people just really don't want to play for the Jazz. If we just keep it in a buck, people have said things about the Jazz and their fans, and I think they have a stigma where people just don't want to be there if they don't have to be. Now, in the draft, you have no choice. You're going to go to the NBA. But theoretically, you know, it's already a small market, but then on top of it is Utah that has certain type of views and stigmas, like I said. So you have that. But then they do have had success in getting role players. And I think the NBA, today's NBA, is a lot easier to get role players because everybody is so talented. And it's such a surplus of players. I just don't like when you have assets and you're trading everything to get them and it's all overlapping. So now you're going to bring in Dylan Harper. And I agree, Riv. Collier, Keontae, Clarkson, Sexton, none of them are stopping me from bringing them in. But, like, I want to bring my player into some type of place where we can have something here. And I just feel like I don't know what is going on with anybody they get. Even if they got Cooper Flag, it would still be like, you got Flag, Laurie, Filipowski. It's just, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just know sometimes it's not as easy as like 2K. Like, if we had them on 2K, we would just go and like trade finder, just get everybody out. We'll just clear away. But it's just, when you're putting together a team and you think about all the moves you're making to get assets, you traded Rudy, Donovan, and all of these guys, you want to see something come from it and not just have like so in a perfect world, when you have assets, it's supposed to look like the Thunder. Theirs is just like, no, like, you had all of these assets, which is what you was selling the fan base to be patient. We got all of these picks, we're going to build it. But now we're like, I don't even know what year we're in. Do anybody know off the top of their brain what year this is?
The rebuild?
Of whatever,
Years 3?
yeah.
3, because Mitchell's been in Cleveland for 3 years. 3.
So in 3 years, there's nothing substantial that's came from the quote unquote assets. The best thing that has happened in the 3 years is Laurie marketing, but it's not been the draft. Like, Keontae George is up and down. Collier is saving the fact that you took Cody Williams, because if you didn't have that pick, the Cody Williams pick wouldn't look so good. Then Walker Kessler had a rock star rookie year, but then y'all was trying to trade him. So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the Dylan Harper pick would change a lot for them. So we'll see.
We're going Dylan Harper. Funky situation. 3rd overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets.
VJ, baby.
Yeah.
Lock it in, man. I will say this.
We don't think about Ace?
No, I will say this. If it was a team that can develop well, I would love Ace here, because I think Ace Bailey has tools. I think he has talent. I think he was put in a situation where he needed to be a primary guy. He's not ready for that. I think Rutgers, it was just a 2-man show. Dylan can do that right now. Ace cannot. But I will say I have not given up on Ace. If he went to a team like Brooklyn, which hasn't been in this rotated, Brooklyn was like 3 or 4, I would love Ace there, because I think Jordy Fernandez can really lock in with him. But with Charlotte, I don't know. Any of these guys going here, I'm scared for, because Charlotte just hasn't given me, any hope of, really developing somebody, and it just seems like it's a dark cloud over there in Charlotte. It just seems like it's a real dark cloud in terms of just guys getting injured, guys dealing with issues off the court and stuff like that. But I think VJ Edgecombe, I think his potential on both ends of the floor, I think defensively is where he's going to make his money at. I think he's 6'4", really athletic, sneaky strong for his size. You know, he is small, but he's also big in the way he plays. I think he can get 2 feet into the paint a lot. I think it'll be really effective next to LaMelo because you need a guy who can get to the rim next to LaMelo. I think LaMelo's that sniper. He's the guy that's on the perimeter. You need kind of somebody to play off him. I think Brandon's more of a 3. So I would go VJ here.
I'm with you, Riff. And you'd look at VJ Edgecombe's athleticism as well, paired with all the tools that he already has. I mean, the one thing that maybe we can talk about, maybe developing that 3-ball just a little bit more, especially for being a guard. But for this situation, Ace Bailey definitely does come to mind, but for the reasons that Riv already listed out, I can't trust the developmental process that Charlotte has going on right now. For that, I like VJ Edgecombe a little bit more.
It seems like Riv, Drew, and John are on the VJ Edgecombe train. I kind of like a
Derek
big
Queen?
man here.
I
like
know you love him.
I like Kaman or Derek Queen. Derek Queen is kind of like the Al Jefferson of the new era for the Hornets. That I really like that fit a lot. And then Kaman is just an absolute beast. He has the size to develop into a really great player. And their center right now, Mark Williams, they just try to trade him. So do they even have a secure center for the future? That's what I'm wondering.
Fair enough.
Joel, me and you think the exact same. And I do want to say to the other guys, I don't think VJ Edgecombe is a bad pick. A couple of things. Number one, I heard y'all mention LaMelo, the fit and everything. I don't think LaMelo Ball is going to be there. It's whatever. I'm not saying I know everything, but I can see when a guy is not going to be somewhere. I told the King fans De'Aaron Fox was going to be out of there. That happened. I told the Heat fans as soon as Pat Riley said Jimmy Butler need to shut up, he's out of there. LaMelo Ball can't stay healthy. He's expensive. The team isn't that good. Both sides need to figure out a way to end that marriage as soon as they can. Because they can't develop is why I would take a center. Because we can't develop. And it's not, I just don't know. I would take Maluach. It's just an easier fit. Mark Williams, you already tried to trade. His medicals aren't good. So I don't know what you're going to get when you do decide to trade him because obviously he feels a way about it. And when you do decide to trade him, I think the NBA is going to use those medicals against the Hornets, so they won't really get back that big of a return. And yeah, you get you a big of the future. You still have Brandon Miller. We'll see what Salon turns into in the long run because he's still extremely raw and young. But I personally would not build this team thinking LaMelo is going to be there. And I'm kind of not interested in taking a guard that will really need development. So give me a big and let's make this a little bit more simpler for the Hornets because at some point they got to start striking. Like Brandon Miller was a good pick. It sucks that him and LaMelo were hurt. It sucks that Mark Williams has been hurt. But these next few picks, they have to start to materialize into something.
Question for both of you guys. I don't hate Derek Queen here. Don't hate Maluach here. P, for you, in your reality, you think LaMelo's not going to be there. So I want to play in that reality for a little bit. If LaMelo's not there, what do you do in terms of getting Maluach a guard? Do you go through a vet in free agency? Do you grab another one maybe in the second round? How do you go about that? Because what we've seen from Charlotte is they're done with Mark Williams probably or whatever it is. And Joel, you can chime in after him. For Derek Queen, if you do pick up Derek Queen, do you play him at the 4 and try to keep Mark Williams, or do you decide, no, you want Derek Queen at the 5, you want him to be your offensive hub? How do you build that defense around him? So I guess 2 questions for both you guys.
How am I building defense around Maluach?
No, for you, what's the guard specific you would bring in to kind of maximize Maluach? Because I know if you draft Maluach in your world, LaMelo's gone, you're kind of going to need a point guard or just somebody that's a primary playmaker to kind of up his game. Who would you attack that in free agency in the second round? And then Joel, the defense part was for you because you would pick Derek Queen.
Yeah. So yeah, me personally, as much as I like Derek Queen, that's my boy, that's my guy. I wouldn't take him here. I think it's way too early, and I just think that he's such a unique player. He's not like Maluach is a center who I can see at the bare minimum he's going to give you a lot that rookie year because of what he can do defensively. that takes off the pressure of having to find a guard. Now I would like to go into free agency, and if I gotta spend a little bit more money to go get a veteran guard that can come out and run this show, then we'll do that. If I got a trade, we'll do that. If I get I don't know their pick outlay situation, they have another pick 33rd. So I don't know. What do you get back when you trade LaMelo? Are you getting back? You're getting back something. What is that? Is a guard coming back in there? My guard may be in that trade.
Let's say Orlando, you trade him too.
I was going to say, what team are we going to?
And you get Anthony Black back, right? Let's just throw that out there.
Okay.
Hypothetical.
Okay. Then there's my guard right there. There's my guard. Now, I'm not in love with that, but from a playmaking perspective for my big, it's okay. And shit, if I'm getting Black back, then I'm getting some picks too. So, yeah, I would take it slow, but Maliwatch is a big that, again, I don't feel like I need that from day one. You would like that, but this is something that we could kind of piece together little by little. And I would love to see what free agency look like. Off the top of my brain, I don't know who's going to be in free agency. I'm not sure.
I'll look it up real quick.
Fred VanVleet is the big point guard.
I would be highly surprised if he wasn't back in Houston, even if it's for a smaller amount of money or Fred VanVleet, Kyrie. These are guys that
I think Houston accepts his team option and puts him in a trade.
In the trade, yeah.
That's $44 million.
What about these type of names like
Dennis Schroeder?
And then we just trade his ass at the deadline. Malcolm Brogdon is out here. Dennis Schroeder, Chris
Trey
Paul.
Jones.
Will Chris Paul be back? Not to say that Chris Paul from that area, Charlotte type. You like, I don't know.
North Carolina.
I would think that he would want to play some type of meaningful basketball. But there are some options out here. You know what I mean? Like, you go that route. Trey Mann may be back healthy next year. You bring back Trey Mann. There's some options out there. But I think for me, the big things that y'all hit on was the developmental aspect of the Hornets. And because they haven't shown that, I think this would be a much safer and easier prospect to bring in and develop. And he's at a position that I think they're going to need to fill.
I fear for anybody going to the Hornets just because, like, I'm very high on Maliwatch if he goes to the right situation. I think with the Hornets, there might be a lot of bust potential there just because it's the Hornets. Derek Queen is more polished and ready to play now, but you don't have that same type of upside. And he's a little bit undersized at the center position. He's like a 6'10 Julius Randle. That's how he plays, a lot like, in my opinion. So I don't know if you want to take him that high. It seems like, John, you're the tiebreaker guy here.
I am.
Are you going with VJ Edgecombe, or who are you going with?
It's going to have to be VJ for me because, and I understand where you're coming from, all of you guys, with maybe LaMelo's not here in the long run. But if I'm Charlotte, I still have to do everything in my power to build around him. And I don't think this front office has given this current team much of a chance. They don't have a whole lot on the defensive end. And the motor that he gives you, the high end point of attack defense and that playmaking on both ends, but really in the defensive end with his elite athleticism, that's something I think you can plug and play next to LaMelo. He's a really good cutter. He's a capable spot shooter. And for him to be this young, already shooting 50% on twos at the college level, I think he can come in and really complement him well. And not only does he give you that kind of short-term outlook where he's going to fit in, but long-term, I see a lot of shades of VO here. So this is the type of pick that I think takes him to that average level on the defensive end and kind of gets them to being a more competitive team. And then from there, maybe you can talk yourself into LaMelo staying. So I'd be a lot more comfortable taking a guard who I think can fit.
One last thing. Is there a chance, and I know Drew may be in agreement of this, but I'm going to just throw this out to everybody. Could there be a slight chance that we and the Hornets could be overthinking and you just take Ace Bailey? You just take fucking Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine, especially because you need size 2, 6'10", doesn't really play like that type of big, can shoot.
Or Ace. The only problem is the developmental part. That is the only thing that'd be like. But if Charlotte can prove us all wrong and draft him and he turns out to be an all-star, and then we're sitting there like, well, they knew what they were doing, because I think Ace is worthy of that.
Brandon Miller turned out fine with the lack of development,
Brandon Miller had a better college profile.
At the very least, Ace Bailey should be able to shoot.
Ace Bailey got like Brandon Miller went to a much better college situation in Alabama, coaching situation. Ace Bailey is still Ace Bailey, though. Even in the bad of the Rutgers year, there's a lot of shit that pops off on the film that you just
And
like.
he had some highs.
You cannot teach this. This isn't. This is not development. This is not teaching. This is just like in you. He's just in him. This is who he is. So, you know, I
And
wouldn't
at that
be
size
mad.
too. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
at that
be.
size. Brandon Miller, if Ace Bailey turns out to be who a lot of people think Ace Bailey can and will be, you have him and Brandon Miller. Even no matter what happens with LaMelo, this is a wings league. That's 2 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" wings who can score 3 level. Like, oh, that could get ugly if that turns out. So I might just, if I'm the Hornets, I'm kind of playing with house money because, man, my back is against the wall. I'm just shooting. I know I just said play it safe, but they may be in a position where they can't play it safe.
It's the Hornets. You kind of can do whatever you want, truthfully.
I feel like the Pelicans are another weird team.
Walk
The
with
fourth
me.
overall pick. And I feel like they have Trey Murphy, they have Herb Jones, so they have shooting guard, small forward.
Fellas,
You have Zion at power forward.
Walk
You just
with me.
drafted Yves Misi. This
walk
feels
with
like
me.
a point guard spot.
Walk with me. Let's go. Listen, Jeremiah Fears is the pick, in my opinion. Like, you got Trey, you got Herb Jones, you got wings next to him. CJ McCollum is a good vet. Good vet. You got DeJounte Murray. Cool guy if he's still in the roster. You got Yves Misi. Got Zion Williamson. Don't know what's going to happen there. But I'll say this. This place screams guard. You love Trey Murphy. You're New Orleans. You love Trey Murphy. You love what he's shown you this year. You love his development. You love Herb Jones. He's the perfect Swiss Army role player that you want. Jeremiah Fears here, man. For me, I love his tape. I love his film. I loved what he did at Oklahoma. The amount of responsibilities he had to do, and he was able to keep them afloat. He was able to keep them competitive. You know, his mid-range is there. He loves to get to his spots. He can get to his spot. He has slight pop on the jumper. Listen, Jeremiah is there. I would go Jeremiah Fears here. Like, I think New Orleans needs to grab, and I know this may be probably a little too high for Jeremiah, but sometimes there are teams that need to just grab a guy because it fits them. And I think Jeremiah Fears fits with the Pelicans.
I understand point guard, no doubt. I also look at Maluach and think they could use another big. Yves Misi definitely was a hit for them, but they do need depth at the big position. I think Maluach does exactly what they need in that big role. I feel like, especially fitting into that defensive identity that they already have too, that they've kind of obviously been injured this season, so they haven't really been able to show that this year. But we saw the year prior how they were one of the best defenses in the league. I think Maluach comes in and really solidifies that. I think that is a safe pick right there. I understand where you're at with Jeremiah Fears, no doubt, but I feel like Maluach to me just makes a little bit more sense.
This is a tough spot for me because I don't know what I like with the Pelicans. Like, Maluach is an awesome prospect, but Yves Misi had a good rookie season.
He's really good.
And he could defend, he can catch lobs, he could develop into a really good player. I kind of have a fear of Jeremiah Fears coming here and he's going to get Reed Shepherd his first year in the NBA. CJ McCollum is going to play over him. DeJounte Murray, when healthy, is going to play over him. You have multiple guards playing over you, and he might just not play his rookie season. So for me, I want him to play. So selfishly, I kind of don't want him to go here, but long term, McCollum's not a long-term answer. Neither is DeJounte. So you could go Fears, and you can have the starting five of just future guys for your team.
Why don't you believe DeJounte is the long-term answer? Just because you don't think he'll want to stay a Pelican?
No, it's a ruptured Achilles. That's a hard injury to come back from, and he just doesn't have much of a jump shot. And I think his fit with the lineup is a bit odd.
Yeah. He really struggled before getting hurt. It was probably his most disappointing season. If I'm New Orleans here, it's a tough spot to be in, like you all highlighted, because I really like Ace Bailey at 4, but you have so many forwards between Zion, Trey, Herb, and I like Jeremiah Fears, the next best guard, but even then, I might be going the draw route, and that's taking Kamal Maluach and pairing him up with Yves Misi, similar to what Dallas did a few years ago. So you're kind of adding more into the front court. And that, to me, would probably be what makes the most sense for their lineup. But then again, I don't like passing on Ace at 4.
Yeah, I think I'm ultimately going Ace Bailey. I know they have a lot of wings, but again, this is a wings league, and these guys that we're referring to as wings, they're just so versatile. Trey Murphy He's a wing guard. I would have no problem letting Trey Murphy be my shooting guard if I needed to. And I honestly think that they're in a position where they have to get talent. The Pelicans need talent. Because we're talking about this team as if it's set, but a part of me is like, I don't know what the Pelicans are even going to look like next year. Yves Missy should be there. Zion should be there. Trey Murphy will be there. When you start to bring up DeJounte, CJ McCollum, or Herb Jones is going to be there. I don't know about the guards, but it still feels too premature for a Jeremiah Fears pick here. I think you would maybe setting them up for failure. And yeah, I don't know how much he would play because the two guys that you have in front of him combined for like $65 million. And they're kind of in a now mode too, which is like, this is not like every other team before them is like rebuilding. The Pelicans are like retooling. Zion has not played in the playoffs. He doesn't have a full playoff series under his belt. This is not a team that is looking for a 5-year plan. They're trying to do something next year. They want to bounce back. So I kind of wish they were a little further down so we could get somebody that's more safer or whatever. But I'm going to just go with the talent in Ace Bailey. You know what I mean? If all fails, you drafted a guy that's going to be highly sought after because of his potential.
Yeah, and I think with that pick too, I mean, Herb Jones, as great of a defender he is, he could come off the bench. Like he could come off the bench and kind of do the Caruso role that he has for OKC, and I'm fine with that. And Ace Bailey could start when he.
What if Ace Bailey came off the bench? Simplified it, let him score, do what he do. Yeah.
No, we're at a 2-2-1 split here. So am I have to pick between the two?
Well, you have Fears, Drew and John have Malawach, and then Pierre has Ace Bailey. Okay,
I'm okay with Ace
you're
as
going
well.
with
Ace
Bailey.
is definitely the more talented guy.
Okay,
If you're playing Trey at the 2, I think it's fine.
Sometimes it's definitely okay to go best available over fit, and I feel like the Pelicans, especially with how little you can rely on their guys, going the best available is okay.
So Ace Bailey.
It's unfortunate that their fit will it's just never there, which is like a big who can shoot, just like a Miles Turner. It's just never been available for them.
I'm with you.
Ace Bailey's the pick at 4, the 5th overall pick, the Sixers.
This is gonna get dark because Embiid, there's been some news about that knee probably never being fixed. You got Paul George, who P, you know how me and you go with PG. He's done. He's still my dog prior to Philly, but Philly PG, I don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. And then you got Tyrese Maxey, you got Jared McCain, the lone young brights. Oh, Quentin Grimes, if they bring him back, that would be dope too. So you kind of have your guard play kind of figured out with Grimes, with McCain, with Grimes, and with Maxey, but they're small, So and then you have your bigs. You're trying to figure that out. You figure out Embiid and stuff. I feel like Malawach is the guy here.
You need a big.
Is this a Derek Queen destination?
I also don't hate Derek Queen either. Like I feel like either guy here. Oh, Joel, can you just pull up the board real quick? I want to make sure I'm not missing. Sneaky. Actually, never mind. It's not sneaky. I'm not even gonna say it. Never mind.
No, please.
Who? Knipple?
Who? Yo, Drew. We're brothers.
Yeah,
Drew, we're brothers.
No doubt.
Drew,
Knipple could go here too.
I'm not saying.
Are y'all shitting me?
I was going to
call him Murray Boyles.
For the 5th overall pick is insane, bro.
I'm waiting.
Listen, I'm not saying. I'm not saying,
John.
I'm not saying Khan is the 5th best player on the board. That's not what I'm saying.
The only reason I said that because I'm a New Yorker. I love me some Quentin Grimes. I feel like Quentin Grimes is Khan Knipple.
Yep, he is. But I feel like they need Philly's Philly's so weird. I feel like
well, what do they have? I mean, you can't bank on Embiid's future. So you have to build this team off of Maxey and McCain and Grimes are your future centerpieces with the way Grimes has been playing. But really Maxey and McCain. So you need a forward or you need a big. And I feel like when you have Malawach and Derek Queen, it has to be one of those two. I think it's between one of those two.
My standpoint is you get a mix of both of that. I'll call him Murray Boyles, who, if Embiid's healthy, you have a really nice 4 to complement him, especially on the defensive end. And if you don't have Embiid long term, I think he projects perfectly at the 4 for them. I think in this range from like 5 to 8, he's perfect. And for Philadelphia, I think it's the best fit.
Do you think Khan's going to translate to the NBA more as a 2 as opposed to the 3? I mean, he's 6'7". He's got decent size on him.
Kind of built like Desmond Bain. I don't know, bro.
I like the Colin Murray Boyles pick.
I'm with you. Colin
Hey,
Murray.
man, Desmond Bain is a linebacker.
Yeah, he's built like an NFL player.
I just don't know if Cayman's here, if like I gain my long-term center here if I go that
Colin's
route.
the best defender in the draft.
Colin Murray Boyles.
Yeah.
The
So
other
John
thing that
is
I would
going with
say, Derek Queen gives you a little bit of both, because Derek
Yeah.
Queen can be there for your future, but Derek Queen is also like, oh, Embiid is going to be okay. They can play together.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna kind of be on the back burner for this, and I'm gonna let y'all kind of guide. And if I need to be a tiebreaker, I'll break the tie.
I'll stand with Derek Queen. I think Derek Queen would be the best fit, but
John, I'm with you, man. Colin Murray Bowles. Let's do it.
all right.
I'm gonna go Derek Queen.
Well,
Here we go, Pee Wee.
Lock in.
Lock in, P.
Tiebreaker.
Tell the dog pick.
Who we taking, Mama? Queen, because you a queen.
Talk.
Derek
She want
Queen with the 5th overall pick.
I
Now
do
the-
think Colin Murray Boyles is the perfect fit. I just think that it's just too high for the Sixers at this point. They would take Queen.
Now the 6th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets. You can bank on Claxton, Cam Johnson, and maybe Cam Thomas. Maybe. So what do they need? Where are they gonna go?
I know you guys are big Jeremiah Fears fans. I really like Jace Richardson. I was watching his tape today. I was enjoying myself, especially because I love me a lefty, especially one that can shoot the ball the way that he can. Had a little bit of an up and down tournament, but can get downhill, can shoot, like I said, can shoot the lights out of the ball. I'm on the side of a guard. I can be persuaded. I can hear Jeremiah Fears, but I do like Jace.
What are we doing with Cam Thomas? Let me ask that first before I make
He
this.
stays. I need a Cam. I need
Trey
Cam to
Johnson-
stay with me for some
Trey
time.
Johnson's off the board. With all due respect to Jace, I feel like if you have Cam, I would rather have a point guard to come in and fill in and be that backcourt, see what you have. Jeremiah, I'm thinking about. I'd say,
Are you a Kasparis? I don't know how
No.
to pronounce his last name.
no. I think I wouldn't take him over Jeremiah.
P, give me a quick scouting report on Kasparis.
I think the dude is good. He has really good size at 6'6". He's not going to blow you away, but he has strong positional size. He's a physical guy. The production spoke for itself. He shot the ball well. He was able to make plays. He reads the defense well. I had somewhere written down like comparisons for him a long time ago. I don't think it's like in a notebook somewhere. I don't think it's on my phone. I've said months ago, I told my producer Christian, this is when Jeremiah Fears was hitting a rough patch. And he was like, man, Jeremiah Fears is going to go back to school. I said, what? The fuck? No, he's not. And then I told him, like, not only is he not going to go back to school, he's better than Kasparis, the guy that everybody talking about. I would take him over him. And now, a couple episodes ago, Christian was like, yeah, and I would even take him over there. And I was like, my boy, exactly. Hop right back up. But my only question to y'all, I'm going to put this out here. So the Nets, this is why I wish we could talk to somebody that was working for some of these teams.
Fact.
They're in a tough spot because they don't own their pick after this. I think this is the one pick that they own, which is why a lot of people was confused on why they didn't tank. They're going to have picks, I believe, but I don't think it's their picks. It may be like the Rockets picks or something. And then a couple years later, they start to get some of their picks back. They also going to have a shit ton of money to spend. Is this a team that's like, are they looking for a project point guard? Because like Jeremiah Fears, I'm not saying he's going to be a project, but he's going to be young, have growing pains. They kind of kept some of their guys that we felt they could have traded. I just don't know what they're trying to do, because next year they have to be good because they won't have their pick. You're not going to be bad next year for the Rockets to get a top 5 pick. They're going to try to compete. So that's what makes this pick so damn confusing for me. And then you have Claxton, you have Thomas, you have Johnson. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do right here.
So
A
I'll
part
say
of me is like, is Con Knipple a pick here? Because it's like
I
no
don't
matter
hate that
what you
either.
do, it's like a safe pick. No matter what direction you go, he can kind of blend both. I don't know.
I'll say this, Pee Wee. It's a good question. It's definitely a good question. Here's where I can level with you. Jordy Fernandez.
Mm-hmm.
Jordy Fernandez, I think
Fair.
for the most part, we all collectively understand how great he is. I think we all understand how great of a coach he is and what he can do. The more with less theory that Pee Wee, I'm going to say
Less is
Less
more.
is more.
Less is more. Pee Wee made that. I'm stamping that. Pee Wee made that. He made that up. That's him. We putting that on him. And I think with Jordy in Brooklyn, we've seen them be competitive this year. I think he can do a little bit of both in building a young player while also maintaining that competitive level. Because, like you mentioned, they still have money. So Jeremiah Fears doesn't have to start next season. He
Mhm.
can be the bench guy. Like we talked with Charlotte, you can bring in a guard like Dennis Schroeder. Maybe he comes back, or like a Chris Paul. If you just throwing out names, they can do that while remaining that competitive edge. And on top of that, they're in the East. They're in the East. If this was the West, you get a different little.
I've heard enough. I got fears.
Here we go. Let's work.
Yeah,
I've heard
listen.
enough.
I think Jeremiah Fears, I'm really a big fan of him. I think he is probably one of my favorite players in the draft. I think if the Nets take him, it's like all those years back when they traded their first round pick to the Blazers and the Blazers ended up getting Dame because they traded away their pick. Fears doesn't have the shooting profile from three that Dame had coming out of college, but the way he moves is very Dame like out of the pick and roll, his athleticism, the ability to rise up. And if he develops a 3-point shot, he can be one of the best scoring guards in the league. So I'm going with Jeremiah Fears. He averaged 20 as a freshman. I mean, the production, you can't ignore that.
I'm cool with it.
Likewise.
Jeremiah Fears, the 6th overall pick. Now, this is another weird spot. The Toronto Raptors, who traded for Brandon Ingram, with the 7th overall pick.
This
What
the
are they
easiest
going to
one.
do?
This is Maui Watch right here.
Yep. I agree.
Yep. Let's put it in. Pause.
Resume.
Maluach is the pick. They need a center. 8th overall pick, the
Shout out to my
Miami
goat,
Heat.
Danny Wolf.
Hey, the Toronto Raptors, if they go like that, that is a great tank while still allowing guys to play. And that's a team that the following year is going to look really good. I don't know what goes on with Pirtle, but if you got both of them, you're nice. Even if you let Pirtle go and Maui Watch is the one who's starting, you still got Barnes, Ingram, quickly. Grady Dick look good this year. Pause. I don't know what you're doing,
It's his
RJ
name.
Barrett. It is, but
His
people
name.
be acting weird when you say his name. They said they might trade RJ Barrett this offseason. Jamal Shed has had a good rookie year. Mogbo has had a good, like they're a sleeper for like a bounce back year if it goes this well for them.
Question for this pick. I'm gonna ask the whole panel
For Miami Heat or for
Yes,
the last? Okay.
for the Heat. Yeah, I'm gonna ask the panel.
Fears would have been real nice here.
Oh, Fears here with a
Yep.
move.
It's funny that you mentioned that
He's
because in
top.
2K, I used the Heat and I put start today, and he was my pick for the Heat. I traded up to get him.
Oh, nice.
I feel like Fears, he is the perfect Miami Heat guy. Like if he goes to the Heat, I have no doubt he's going to become a star.
And that's where my question is about to come up, because Miami, we've seen the noise about Kevin Durant. We've seen the noise about him possibly staying, possibly leaving. Miami's been on the radar. We know how they've been. With Miami, we've known them to never really rebuild in our, in our type era. They've been just a retool type market. This is an opportunity for them to draft another lottery player. They haven't had one since Hero or Bam. I forgot which one it was, but I believe Bam was a lottery pick.
He was.
Yeah. So I don't remember if
Tyler Hero was too.
Was
Hero
he
came
lottery.
He came after Bam. So the last one would have to have been Tyler
So
Hero.
Tyler Hero was their last lottery pick. Do we think about Trey Johnson here
Just get a bucket getter.
for Miami's development team? Do we think about Trey Johnson potentially being the guy that gets picked at 8 and becomes that dude?
He's
Is
an option.
Nipple not a Heat? Like, does he not scream Miami Heat to you?
But he screams high level role player. With all
He's
due
a good
respect,
fit.
Con.
I feel like with the Heat, they have center and power forward with Bam and Khalil, where Tyler Hero is playing out of position. I think it's a 2. and I think Trey Johnson's a 2. So that's
I do
why
too.
I wouldn't go that route. So I'm going with a guard that is forward like. So Igor Demin, I kind of like this spot, or a point guard, but with Jeremiah Fears off the board, I don't know. Outside of maybe Kasparis, I don't know if I'd go with anybody here. So it's really between a small forward and a point guard for me.
I would take Chase Richardson. This is early. I know it's early, but I do believe in Miami's developmental team. I like his skill set. He's a plug and play player, being come off the bench early. I do believe this is the right situation for him to go to.
What's the case for him for Jace over Khan? If you're going that type of route, not saying it's wrong. I'm just curious.
I do believe Jace is a little more upside as a shot creator. And pairing that alongside Tyler Hero, I think he'd offer a little bit more to take their offense to a higher level. I feel like kind of like what Drew said, I look at Khan as like a high level, like fit starter. I do believe that with Jace Richardson, there's a little bit of star upside there that they could fully tap into as both a shot creator and a playmaker. I know he's young, but I think the ability to play a pick and roll is something that I think he could break out with in Miami.
I also think Khan can be a secondary playmaker as well, though. I think that he's shown that. He obviously can work the pick and roll, obviously has a great jump shot to him, great size, or solid size, especially for his position. And for a guy that can handle the ball that way, that's kind of why I think, especially for Miami, I do lean Khan a little bit more, but I do like Jace a lot. I think he does have a lot to his offensive arsenal. But I think that when it comes to Miami, I just think that Khan would just be the perfect fit for them.
They just traded Jimmy Butler. I think the question is, you're looking for a primary creator or a secondary.
I get it.
playmaker.
And if that's the case, I think Khan can be that.
So wait, if we're going guard, we don't think Trey Johnson has the most potential out the bunch?
He is a
think he
2.
does. I don't think it's the best fit.
Yeah,
it's the Miami. It's not anything against him.
Yeah.
It's the Miami Heat that's
I think
drafting.
Miami needs a star, though. They need a guy with that. Like Khan,
Is
I like
Trey
Khan.
Johnson a star?
I think
He's going to be able to score, but a star?
I think he's shown what I'll say is this, Pee Wee. I think he's shown a lot of defense that people don't like to watch. I think he's shown defensive upside. I think he has a scoring bag to him. And I think star is subjective. There's a lot of stars in the league. I think we are so talented right now. I think with Khan, I think he shows great ability as a cutter, playing off ball, being a shooter. With Jace broke onto the scene and he was electric. But I think Trey Johnson at his size, the way he can get his own, and the way he sneakily this year was good off the catch. He didn't have a lot of it, obviously, because he was the main guy. But when he was off the catch, he played really, really well. So maybe star is a tough word, but I do lean into Trey Johnson's physique, his natural ability more than the other two guys. Plus, he has that natural 6'6", 6'5" guard size. But of course, Jace is there too. I'm not going to disregard Jace Richardson.
I would go Igor Demin.
Now, I like him. I like Igor Demin a lot, right? The Miami Heat just not doing it. They're not. I'm sorry. I mean, the foot speed is going to be in question as far as who you're going to be able to guard. The lack of a consistent outside shot. I just don't know how many times they want to go down that rabbit hole. You don't have Jimmy Butler anymore. Like you damn near had to put a shotgun to Bam's back to make him shoot. Andrew Wiggins is not necessarily like this plus outside shooter. I like him though. I just don't know if I like his style. Like when you think about how BYU plays, it's nothing like what the Miami Heat are going to want or try to do. It's just really not. And you can't bring in a guard that's going to make Tyler Hero play a whole different way. I do agree. I think Tyler Hero is playing out of position, but I do think you still need to tap into some of what he's doing, even when you bring in your next guard. And I damn near think you could get away with a Davion Mitchell type guard until you figure that out versus Demin. He's going to need the ball. He's going to want the ball, and he's trying to create for others. I don't want Tyler Hero to go from all-star to like spot up majority of the time all of a sudden. So I think if you're going to bring in a guard, you need somebody that has a little bit of a blend. I think Trey Johnson is nice. He's just too similar to Tyler Hero. I can see him being in that realm of a player when it all is put together. That's the only reason I'm going Knipple right here. Jace Richardson, I really think John made a good state. I really can't argue against it. I just prefer Khan over him with this particular team and how they play. the way that he'll be able to play off of the basketball, you're kind of getting a better version. Like, I think Cunningham would be what Eric Spoelstra would have dreamed Duncan Robinson to be. He's not going to shoot it as good as Duncan Robinson, but he's not going to be a liability where you have a stretch of the season where he's unplayable.
Yeah.
And it, like, he's going to be able to defend. He's going to be strong, secondary ball handle. He's going to be able to play off the catch. You're going to be able to run plays for him. He's going to be able to create gravity when you run a play for somebody else. He's going to make solid decisions. He's just going to check every box for a Miami Heat team that doesn't. I don't think Miami needs they need a star, but I don't think they need to get it through this. I don't think they have to shoot themselves in the foot trying to stress over a star with the 8th pick in the draft.
Would you be shocked to see them trade back?
I would. Just because what are they doing it for? This draft is so open that, like, I don't know if you can have the comfort level saying I'm gonna trade back and get Jace, because he might get taken the very
That's
next
because
pick.
that's kind of what I'm. All right, fair enough.
I tell people all the time when they ask me about the draft, hey, besides the top guy, I don't know. It's very team dependent. I went on Twitter a week ago and told them, like, hey, if I was a GM, I wouldn't gloss over Maluach at number 2, depending on who the team was. And people act like I was crazy. It's nothing against Dylan Harper, but depending on if the Raptors jumped up to number 2, what are they doing?
I really like the idea of Dylan Harper in Toronto, though, P.
Then
I
what are
get
you
where
doing?
you're coming from.
Yeah.
What are you
I
doing
get
with
where you're
Emmanuel
coming from.
Quickly, though? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
they just paid
him
Emmanuel Quickly
a
a
lot
lot.
of money.
He did just get a ton of money.
Like,
Yo,
he didn't get an
P, with all
extension.
due
We're talking
respect,
30
I think
million
that's a good
plus
problem to
dollars.
have.
No, I don't
with all
think
due
you're.
respect, you could
I don't
bounce
think you're trading
IQ.
him. No, but
I don't
IQ
think it's
showed he
that
can thrive
simple,
off the
though.
bench.
That's not. It's definitely not.
You're not paying
We're
him 30 million to come off the bench.
OD, I was going to say,
Number
you're
one.
not
Number
putting 40
two,
mil on the bench.
this last season wasn't super encouraging to say we trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trading him and getting pennies on a dollar on a 35? And number one, I don't know too many teams are getting too much more smarter with the second apron stuff to where I just don't. Who is absorbing Emmanuel Quickly contract coming off the season that had as much injury riddled as he did?
Maybe Charlotte, if that.
Now, there was too much risk with giving him the contract in the first place. It was a lot of money for a player that was a 6-man who you thought could be your lead guard, who
He
maybe
did
he can
ball.
be.
When
but
he got traded there, he was balling.
he
I
was playing
still
well.
like him.
Yeah,
I still like him
It's
with
just-
Scotty Barnes. Yeah,
30 million, the type
that's a
of
lot of money, man.
the type of player that he is. I feel like right now there's an abundance of those type of players. You just need a spark plug off the bench that could defend a little bit and hit some shots. Like Payne Pritchard does that for half the price for Boston.
Right.
So I just feel like it's hard to trade him. So Riv, what pick are you going with the Heat?
The more I listen, the more I'm swayed on Khan. I think Khan can go here, but I don't hate
$162 million. Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah, it's a ton of money.
Yeah, I go
I
Khan
would
here, but I
say-
don't hate Trey.
If they end up trading RJ, I think IQ's fine as a second guard. But as for this pick, I think Khan's a good fit as well. So I don't mind at all.
I do agree with that too, John. I've always liked Emmanuel Quickly in a combo guard type role.
Mhm.
But that's why I
Confident.
liked him with the Raptors, because Scotty Barnes is a point forward.
Right. That's true.
Con Canepo, 8th overall pick. Now the 9th overall pick. The Spurs hold this one.
This shit keep getting tougher and tougher.
I feel like
I
they
feel
don't
like
need to
it's
shoot for the stars. Maybe just like a shooter.
Let me can I ask a question?
Do we like Colin Murray Boyles here?
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
do we like Jeremy Sohan as the long-term 4 next to Wemby?
I like Shohan. I think
I
he's
do
a good
too.
player.
I
I
like
do too.
Colin better. I really do.
I do as well.
I
But they're like kind of the
Colin at
same though.
I like Colin at the 5, and you can throw Wemby at the 4 and just be like, yo, dude, we want you on that perimeter, brother. Like that's where we want you.
I don't
I
hate
also
it.
look at Stephon Castle. I look at Devin Vassell. You still need somebody to fit with them because Chris Paul obviously ain't gonna be there forever. So Kasparis is cool. If you want Stephon to be your long-term point guard, I think Trey Johnson's cool, but he's kind of like Devin Vassell, you know. So I wouldn't take Liam Neely this high. Igor, if you want to go project for the Spurs, they're not in a rush. Igor is a good project, I guess. Asa Noel, I don't think I would go him here either. So for me, it's between Colin. Probably not. I'll just say Colin.
What do
They
you
have
think, John?
Castle. They
Okay,
have
there we go.
Fox. They have the guards. I think the small forward position is in question with them. I don't think Fox is a natural playmaker. I think he's good driving, kicking, but Igor Demon could be an option, but the lack of an outside jump shot is kind of scary. Liam McNeely, you're right. I think he fits with them. It's just a little bit too high. Maybe this is another player that it might be taken a little bit too high, but with the defensive upside and he shot 37% at college, do I think about Carter Bryant here? Is it a little bit too high? Is it a little bit too rich? That's just the type of archetype of player that I'm looking for to fit around Wemby.
When I seen this pick pop up, I thought Carter Bryant. I was like, they're gonna think I'm crazy.
Yeah, I like Carter Bryant a lot, and I like the little elbow band he wears.
2000s type swag. Yeah, he's one of my favorite prospects in this class. I like him. I like Fears, and I like Rasheer Fleming. But
he shot the hell out of the ball this season.
I'll say this: I don't mind Carter Bryant. I think if you put Colin next to Wemby, you've built probably one of the best defenses in basketball going into like next year or the year after that. You know, you're building a pretty stout defense. Plus Stephon Castle, Fox is out there, like he could guard. But
this is why free agency was in front of the draft, because they've been rumored to so many different people. They got the Kevin Durant rumor just came out. Spurs fans, every time I talk about the Spurs, are telling me they're getting Nas Reed. And so, like, if they're doing all of these type of moves, then like, why the hell are you drafting a Colin Murray Boyles?
That's true.
But then also, if you're not drafting Colin Murray Boyles, who are you drafting? Because you got to draft somebody. But then you got Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox. You still have.
Do we still trade? Is this a trade?
Joel, don't they have another pitch? Another pick should be coming up for them again.
They do. They have the Hawks pick.
They do.
So it's like, I don't know what the hell they're going to be. They have what is this? The 10th pick, 9th pick, and 16. They could still get a Carter Bryant at 16, or I don't know, because I like Jeremy Sohan too, but I'm not against Colin Murray Boyles. But then it's like, if they do make a move, like, I just don't know. We can go Colin Murray Boyles. Jace Richardson kind of cool in a black and chrome too. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't hate the idea of Jace on the Spurs at all.
But he'll be there at 16 too, though. He'll be there at 16.
Yeah, you think Jace will be there at 16? I guess with the team coming up, we'll see.
Just potentially.
Yeah. No,
like I said, this draft is he could be going at fucking 11. But
that's a fact.
The 10th overall pick, the Blazers.
See, this is a team. What the fuck are we gonna do with them? Like, they got everything. They got everybody. Look at the team. Denny Camaro has broken onto the scene. Scoot trending in the right direction. You still have Simons. You know, you have Clingan in his minutes. He looks really good. I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably keep Robert Williams, kind of like how Brooklyn keeps Cam Johnson and stuff. Like, you still need some assortment of good. Yeah. So Robert Williams, I don't even mind them keeping. I guess Shaden Sharp's there, so I guess maybe another wing. Maybe a fit. This is a fit pick.
Asa Newell, dots.
Liam McNeely, man.
I think it's early, but this is an impossible team to pick for.
They have 9 players that need minutes.
They're overlapping on someone, no matter who you select. This is a prime team to trade the pick, maybe upgrade in their lineup.
That's a fact. That was the first thought that came to my mind too. Also, I wouldn't hate another big here. I mean, I'm shout out to my Michigan guys. Danny Wolf, 7 feet, can shoot, can handle the ball a little bit too.
I'm not minding the Carter Bryant pick here. You can never have too many wings.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Put it in.
He's not going to command 30 minutes off. He doesn't even start for Arizona in college. Like, he's young. I think he can fit in what they do. I just think you have to stay far the fuck away from the guard position. You have to stay far.
100%.
I'm so tired of seeing guards be drafted on this team. And like Joel said earlier, it's so many guys trying to figure out, are they the guy?
Yo,
is Shaden Sharp the guy, or is he complimentary? Is Scoot a guy or complimentary? Is Denny now the guy or complimentary? I think Carter Bryant can work his rookie year without getting in anybody's way.
Yo, Judge is the celebration again.
He's crazy.
I like the Carter Bryant pick. Let's go Carter Bryant. Now, the 11th overall pick, the Bulls. I was really hoping like Derek Queen would fall this far, because I would love Derek Queen on the Bulls, but that's not the case. So because of Kobe White and Josh Giddey's breakout, you're not going guard here. So what is the pick for them?
Asa Newell. High energy big, all on that glass. Kobe White, you shooting that shot. I got offensive rebound. Josh Giddey, I'm gonna set the screen. You told me to lie. We gone.
I'm with that.
I like it.
Let's
lock
it in. Asa Newell on the Bulls. Now
He's
you have
gotta chill.
Mataz. You also have Asa
I
Newell.
love
Now,
that guy, man.
with the 12th pick, the Mavericks.
Yeah, McNeely.
I don't hate Trey Johnson here.
I like that too. It's far and away the best player on the board to me. And if I'm Dallas, here's a little more scoring. Kyrie as a mentor, I will go Trey Johnson.
Also, I will say Kasparis, he has dropped a ton.
Yeah, we're tweaking. He's taken by now.
Yeah,
And
no
I
doubt.
feel like he also offers playmaking that the Mavericks
No
need.
doubt.
Outside of
Definitely could use
Kyrie,
another creator.
nobody else can create consistently. So
Yeah, they
he
got
better than
Najee
Trey
Marshall.
Better than Trey
running-
Johnson?
Who?
I think the shooting with him is a big question because the shot looks good, but he also made 31% of his threes. And the turnovers, too, are another question where I worry about his ability to separate. So I look at Kasparis and I'm not high on him. I like him as a lottery pick at the end, but I
We're close
have a
to
lot
the
of fears
end.
of him translating to the NBA level.
I do
definitely,
too. I'm not.
I
as
definitely
high as
didn't
some
love
others.
it when I was looking and doing my homework for the pod. But I feel like at this pick, especially with the Mavs needing someone that can play on the ball and play make, I agree with you. The jump shot didn't look, or obviously the numbers weren't there to back it up. But this is a good spot for him, and I could see this being the lowest he goes.
I'm just mad that he went so low. But Trey Johnson is still on the board too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
We
I'm
kinda-
cool with either or. I
we
just
are
think
fucking
that
tripping. I don't know how this happened. My vote is for Trey Johnson. My vote is for Trey
Me
Johnson.
too.
But then
All
I
right.
feel bad that now
I'm on the
Yakachon.
side of Kasparis, but I can be swayed either which way and not be upset about it.
let's go with the bucket getter. Let's go with Trey Johnson,
I'm cool with that. Hopefully Kyrie resigns.
the 13th overall pick. Now, if this is in the top 12, the Kings keep their first round pick, but since it's 13th, the Hawks get the pick.
Interesting.
They're trying to build this team like in a similar way that the early Suns teams built their team around Steve
Mhm.
Nash with a bunch of wings and shooting.
Mhm.
So I think you kind of got to go with somebody who can offer
Well, Clint's
at
gonna
least
be
shooting.
Clint's leaving this year.
He is.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing.
Yeah,
That's-
Onyeko has been all right this
Paris
year.
LeVert, I don't know if he comes back. So we
Riv,
need
how you
depth.
feeling about McNeely right here?
What bigs do we have on the board?
Not great.
None
Danny
that
Wolf
fit
comes
with
to
what they do.
mind. Facts.
Danny Wolf he's not playing Trey Young basketball.
No,
So go
he's
to
not.
all real quick because I don't hate Liam McNeely. I just don't know.
So
So
this
we
is my
have
argument.
McNeely.
If you're going
They do need
McNeely,
shooting.
I'm going Rasheer Fleming. If we're
No,
going,
I would go Caspers. They don't have another backup guard.
But they need shooting badly, Riv. They have Zachary Ricochet, and then after that, there's a lot of questions in the 3-point department. Off the track.
Rasheer was shooting the lights out of the basketball.
at 6'9",
I
6'9"
just-
guard, 3-4
Beyond
position.
him,
How-
Dyson,
Here's
Dyson
my
and
thing.
Jalen Johnson. That's their two questions shooting.
Yeah, my
And
thought
Yet Taylor's
process
making
on it though
31%.
is like I don't want like with all due respect to Trey Young, bro. He has the ball so much. It's so much responsibility. They drafted Kobe Buffkin to kind of be that guy. You know, they had DeJounte Murray. Like they still are looking for that other guy that can help them.
Who on a board gives you that though? Let me take that
Jace
back.
is still available, isn't he?
Let me take that back. He
I was
is.
I'm looking at Caspers as a guy.
He in a literal sense he gives you that, but does he give it to you enough that makes you feel confident? If you're going to go that route, the reason the Hawks haven't gone that route is because they have not found a guy that does that at a level that makes them feel comfortable with Trey Young not having the ball.
That's
He
true.
don't
That's
fit
true.
that.
That's
Yep.
true.
He
You're
get the
right.
ball, they're gonna try to do some new shit. It won't last 20 games. They're gonna say, you know what? I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Trey
so
Young.
that-
You are
you-
still the guy we need to
You're
have. the ball.
definitely right. So my next thought would be a big. So Fleming is cool with me. Like I would go big because you're losing Capella, you have Onyeka, you have Jalen Johnson. You still need some.
He not your big though. I don't want you to think that this is a center. This is
No,
a
he's a
wing.
power forward, but you still need a backup.
Is that
I also want to say this, and I'm sorry, John.
No,
I
you're good.
know that Jace is 6'3", and obviously with that backcourt of Trey Young and him being as small as it is, I think that obviously Jace probably comes off the bench, no doubt. Can give you shooting, can
Yeah.
attack the basket.
I'm not against this.
I like Jace. I also like Fleming though, because ultimately, like we all say, it is a wing league.
He's
and you
ready
can
to
never
play.
have too many.
He's a
And he
junior.
is ready to play.
6'9",
He's ready to play right now.
Yeah.
He is.
For
And
a
I
team
think
that is
he's
trying
ready
to do
play
something.
guys.
When they traded away Terrence Mann and when they traded away
They acquired.
they got Terrence Mann, you're right. They traded away Bogdanovich. They added him for some defense. And then in the trade with the Cavaliers when they traded Hunter. They got LeVert back, and I think LeVert became their playmaker, and their assists have went up with him, and I think he'll stay. So I'll go Rasheer Fleming. Just
I'm cool with
size, shooting. That's exactly what they need. Now the 14th pick, the Rockets. They got this pick from the Suns. This is another spot where it's like you don't know exactly
This is luxury.
what you need to do.
This
Hey,
is luxury.
we messed up, y'all. We have to admit that. There's no way Yakachonis is not taken in a lottery, and I just don't see him in the Rockets. They just took Reed
Right.
Shepard. Is there a way we can undo some shit? This is what did we do?
Joel, can you read
We
the
took
picks
Carter
that we
Bryant
have up until
over.
now?
That's probably the one spot.
Well, I can undo just the
We
previous
took
draft
Pierce
pick.
high as hell. We took Carter Bryant high as hell, and I do think
There we
Carter
go.
Bryant is going to
Okay.
be a reach
So
in this draft.
we took Carter Bryant, but it doesn't feel like the Blazers are a guard spot, so that's why we didn't take
Yeah.
Kasparis.
All right, we just got to live with what we did. But
Maybe it's probably the Heat selection
Or
is
the
where he should have
Spurs.
went.
The Spurs is one that if they needed a ball handler too, especially not knowing the future.
Yeah, if it was a pick I'd change, it probably would be the Heat. They probably go Kasparis at 8.
the Heat.
I like Con better at that spot.
Me too. They just.
I like Con.
I don't know where we made our mistake, but we made it somewhere.
I think the
Heat are
Spurs
too
make
smart
sense.
drafting.
We drafted for team need over best player available. And I think that's how the board shook up.
Why do you like the Spurs? The
Just 'cause
Spurs
they-
just drafted Stephon and they just acquired De'Aaron Fox. To invest another lottery pick into the guard position when you now have
I
a
get it.
$35+ million.
And obviously, I know Stephon definitely. It's March and April runs. He's obviously been playing a lot more on ball. We've seen a lot more playmaking, a lot more showing what he can do, scoring the basketball. It's just, maybe I don't know about the long term of him as the lead guard.
That's fine, but we have free agency in the 16th pick to do that too.
No doubt. Who is our pick for the Spurs?
Colin Murray Boyles.
Which I understand, especially because we're trying to get some depth, and especially in that front court, because we have the best defensive player in the world. We're trying to anchor that. I just think they don't have a true playmaker, and maybe that's not even Kasparis, but if that's kind of the logic we're trying to go by, I feel like of teams that need that.
Hey man, the Spurs have enough playmaking. They have Victor Wembanyama. It does not take rocket science to get
Fair
him
enough.
involved.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
They have enough. De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama pick and roll on paper.
Pete,
should
what
take
I'm
care
hearing
of a
is we
lot of
didn't
shit.
mess up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
You're absolutely right, which is why I said, we just go. But all I know is, and you know what? To double down on somebody always falls, right? Somebody always
Jalen Hood Shafino comes to mind. They said that he was going to be a top 10, top 12 pick, and he dropped all the way to the Lakers.
Well, I don't know who the fuck told you that.
Well, Jalen Hood Shafino in hindsight.
I love
facts.
Jalen Hood Shafino, but I didn't even.
So
think
I think looking at the board, because Kasparis realistically could have been maybe the Pelicans. He could have gone to the Nets. The Heat also, I don't think the Blazers was a good spot, and then the Mavericks was also a good spot, I think. And maybe
I think
Trey
the other
Johnson
thing
falls a
is
little bit.
you also have a couple guys, a group of guys who aren't the highest on him. I think he's still good. I don't want to. That's my thing. Us not having him is going to make it look like we just totally off him, and that's not the case for me. And it's not. I also do my mocks with like what I see and what I think, and I also go off with what they think. No matter what I think about a guy, the NBA GMs are going to do it. I've thought a lot of things about a lot of guys. It's never stopped anybody from going top 10 or lottery. So I do think he's a lottery pick, but I just see that now we're at the Rockets, damn sure not taking him. And there was a couple other few teams that we felt that way. The Blazers, like y'all said, not taking a guard. But yeah, I think the Pelicans, the Nets, and probably, maybe the Spurs think about it. Maybe. It's just hard for me to convince myself that they invest in the guard position again. De'Aaron Fox is going. How much money does he make?
A lot.
He's going to get a max contract.
And he's going to get a max contract.
Yeah.
So it's like
castle developing. So
when you have $40+ million invested into the position for one player, and then you have potentially the reigning rookie of the year at that position too, you're going to triple down on it with a top 10 pick. I don't know.
Yeah.
So with the Rockets, what should they do? Because an Ime guy has to play defense, but they also need shooting.
Liam McNeely's not a bad defender.
No, he's not a bad player at all. He's just really solid. He's a really good guy, really good player.
He's the safe pick. Like here, he's a safe pick.
Yeah.
I don't see. You're good.
No, go ahead.
I don't see Jace going here because you have Reed Shepard, of course. Unless you make a trade, you have to focus on getting him playing time.
And I don't see them taking another front court player too much either.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a wing.
I like Liam McNeely here.
What's their backup? What's their backup center situation?
Their backup
Steven
center,
Adams.
Steven Adams. That's
Steven
why
Adams.
Steven Adams has been great for them. So
I like Liam McNeely, just a solid all-around player, shooter, and you desperately need some shooting.
Yeah, I like Nick Clifford too. That's just me though. I really like Nick Clifford. Thomas Sober from Georgetown. I don't know. They
Clifford can't shoot and good size.
He does a little bit of everything. They're just weird because they don't even play Cam Whitmore. So I mean, I don't know. They're just a team that they just have the luxury of like, yeah, they're gonna
get it. I
they
mean,
probably consolidate.
Tari,
Cam don't play defense.
You know who would have been perfect here?
Oh.
Who's already taken? Colin Murray Boyles.
not fact.
He ain't gonna fall this far.
Yeah, no, they'd have to trade up.
They went
I don't know, man. I ain't sold on anybody not being anywhere because
Fair.
we got a guy that people was saying a lock at 4. He's still on the board at us for us. Jace
What are you
Richardson
going
is
with?
people high on.
I
he's
know.
still on the board.
Jace comes to mind too, but not for the Rockets. They don't need another guard. But he could shoot. But Reed Shepard obviously doesn't even play.
Has Trey Johnson been taken in our thing? He was
Yeah, we
Yes.
took Trey to Dallas.
Dallas.
I'd
We should go
with
back
Liam
in time.
McNeely.
We should go back in time. We should go to that Mavs pick, take Kasparis at pick 13, take whoever we took at pick 13, and at pick 14, I don't hate the idea of Trey.
That doesn't make sense though. They have Jalen Green.
Yeah.
They literally have him on. They have Trey Johnson on steroids.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's like asking for McDonald's when your mom is a chef.
Are the Rockets committed to Jalen Green long term? I know
They give
just-
him a big contract.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
but
with Dallas
it's
though,
like a
Dallas,
2+1, isn't it?
Dallas needs backup. They need guard scoring, like
Yeah.
outside of Kyrie.
That was a good pick. Good fit.
I think Liam is the safe pick here.
I'm going with Liam McNeely.
Yeah.
All right,
Just a
send
good
it.
shooter.
Yep.
And our mock draft, looking at it, the Wizards go Cooper Flagg, Jazz go Dylan Harper, Hornets go VJ Edgecombe, the Pelicans go Ace Bailey, the Sixers go Derek Queen, the Nets go Jeremiah Fears, the Raptors go Kaman Malawach, the Heat go Con Kneppel, the Spurs go Colin Murray Boyles, the Blazers go Carter Bryant, the Bulls go Asa Newell, the Mavericks go Trey Johnson, the Hawks go Rasheer Fleming, and the Rockets go Liam McNeely.
We got a couple reaches, and I think we got 2 of them that I see happening. I don't know if it'll be this high on these teams, but I do think Carter Bryant is going to be a guy that people are going to turn the draft on and be like, that dude.
He's a winning player.
They're going to see his stats go across the screen, and they're going to be like, he just went 11th. He's a lottery pick, and then he's going to go to the NBA and be like a really, 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 really good basketball player.
Pete, do you remember Pat Williams' stats at Florida State?
I don't remember his stats, but I know he came off the bench. He was 6
And
man
they
of the
were
year.
the stats were so low, and he ended up being like top 5.
Yeah, he went 4 right to the
the tools and the intangibles.
But I think
that
Carter Bryant is going to be better than Patrick. That's
shit ain't hard. Shit ain't hard at all.
Peyton Watson was drafted by the Nuggets. He wasn't lottery.
Yeah.
But I think when you see his stats, it's like 3 points a game.
Yeah, he was just defense.
Hardly
The
played.
tools were there.
Yeah, Carter Bryant, the tools are there. Now, a team that usually picks in the lottery is not there this year. That's the Detroit Pistons because they've tripled their win total. They have had a historic turnaround. And Cade Cunningham the other day said that he thinks he could be the best basketball player in the world. Riv, you agreed with this statement. How do you feel about him saying that? Of course, he's going to say that and think he's the best, but do you think it's a possible outcome?
Of course he's going to say that. And of course, me being a fan of his, I'm going to believe that. And if you saw the second sentence in my message, in my tweet, it said, I don't give a fuck about what any of y'all say either. I really don't, because I believe that just as much as he believes that. Now, the political answer, there's a lot of NBA players. You got Victor. You got Cooper Flag coming in. You
When
got
do we get
Luka.
political?
You
Rick?
got SGA. I think Cade Cunningham has had a year that's propelled him into probably top 20, top 15 talks, wherever you want to slice him up. I think he's completely altered and changed this Detroit Pistons team. I think there was a lot of fools and idiots who called him not good last year when they just didn't watch Detroit basketball. And I don't even hate that, because it was hard to watch, but I was there. And I'm going to tell you, Cade Cunningham was a dude last year. His team just wasn't good. Cade Cunningham is a dude this year, but now his team is good. So it's just constant, going up. If he continues to do that, now the next step is playing well in the playoffs. He's 6'6", 6'7" guard that can handle the ball, can shoot the three ball, can shoot the mid-range, can get to his spots. And then on top of that, he's not a terrible defender, good rebounder. IQ was there, one of the best playmakers in basketball, a great engine to an offense in Detroit. I think he can be an engine with the elite engine with the proper guys around him. Being the best in the world, I'll be honest, we didn't see SGA jump into that conversation. People didn't see Joker jumping into that conversation. People didn't see Steph jumping into that conversation. So there's going to be that one guy that propels into that conversation. We've got 3 or 4 of them in the last decade. So do I think Cade can do it? Yeah, it's just about continuously putting in the work, continuously, grinding. And Detroit has to continuously do good things as an organization to keep putting the players around him. But I think Cade has the tools. And this is a guy who missed damn near his whole second year.
Basically the whole year.
His whole second year was hurt. His whole first year, and Detroit was completely botched in those 3 years of just putting out terrible, terrible products. Now you have JB Bickerstaff. When Jaden Ivey gets back, I think he's going to be a good complementary piece to Cade. But I love what I've seen from him. I think he's giving you nothing but electric moments all year. He's giving you primetime moments all year. He has that it factor to him. That also is important when you are one of the top guys in the league. While SGA is so coveted, he's so highly regarded. Aura. And Cade Cunningham has that. He's in Detroit, the bad boy Pistons. They're kind of bringing that vibe, that style back, and Cade is the head of the ship. So I do firmly believe he can be the best player in the league. It's just about having all that, the extra stuff.
Everything come together.
Yeah, the Joker, he has MVPs. He has the ring. Giannis, when he was getting put at the top, he had the MVPs. He has the ring. You have to have all the extra stuff. And I think SGA is the next guy up, because now he's going to get his MVP. Whether he gets the ring is a conversation for a different day. With Cade, I think Cade has a chance to win an MVP. I think we've seen this year what he can do as an uplifter. I'm all in on Cade, man. I'm all in on the statement. I'm all in on what he can do, and my son agrees.
Riv, I got to be honest with you. You made one of the best statements I've ever heard you say, whether I agree with it or not. You 100% are right in the sense that there are certain players that we did not see ascending to the heights that they ascended to, which is why, if your argument for Cade is that, yeah, he can be, because one, he has all the tools to do it. He has shown that he can uplift a bottom-feeding organization to now being a respectable playoff team with a trait of theirs that stands out amongst the entirety of the NBA, talking about that defense. He can play make at the level that he does. There's things that he needs to clean up, no doubt. That's like almost every other player in the NBA. Yeah, he could finish at the basket a little bit more efficient. Yeah, he can clean up the turnovers. He could be a little bit more refined as a playmaker. But he's already doing one of the hardest tasks, and that's getting the Pistons out of the mud. So I don't disagree with what you're saying, Riv, not even at all. Do I? I don't disagree from where you're coming from. I may not agree that I don't see the vision of him being the absolute number one best in the world. I just think that there's such an overwhelming amount of great players in this league, especially when you look at how great SGA has become in his efficiency as a 3-level scorer, on top of being an amazing two-way player. Of course, Victor Wembanyama, he's only going to continue to ascend and only get better at his craft, especially talking about that offensive game, because defensively, we already know we're talking about the best and at the absolute worst, the second best defender in the world. I just think that there's a lot for him to overcome to be the number one best player, but this isn't a conversation where that should be viewed as trying to diminish what Cade Cunningham's done. I look at this topic and this should be nothing but praise for Cade Cunningham, understanding what he's had to overcome in his career, not just injury, but of course, or not just being on the Detroit Pistons and then being a bottom feeder, but also having to overcome his injuries and just staying on the court. That was step one for him. And he showed when you just put respectable guys around him, NBA level players around him, that he can go out there and he can uplift and he can put forth the product that has been Detroit Pistons this season. I love his confidence. You talk about how he talks and how he carries himself. I can't help but think about him at that NBA table with Shaquille O'Neal and talking about his rivalry between him and Jalen Green, that, you know, we have respect for each other, but it isn't something that we got to be buddy-buddy when we see each other. He shows me that he's a killer. He goes out there and he sees his opponent and he knows what it is. The end goal, his result is, I want to win in whatever costs. And not many guys have that mentality. And guys like that, those are the ones that usually end up on top because they have a bigger picture. I think obviously when it comes to being the best in the world, yeah, there's accolades that you got to get to, but you just keep doing what you're doing the way that Cade Cunningham has. He'll be in the top 5 conversation. I think that's for sure.
He should absolutely feel that way. Victor Wembanyama's in his age bracket. That's where I go, okay. If Wemby's healthy, I think he's kind of unanimously the best guy in the world when he's at his best. But I think Cade can be an MVP level player. I think that was a ceiling coming out of college. And a full circle moment. I remember back when he was getting drafted into the NBA, there was a report that OKC was sending out SGA for Cade Cunningham in the first overall pick. And though at that time there was a huge uproar about who should be on whose side. Oh, why would the Pistons or why would OKC decline this? Cade is this good of a player or a prospect. Now's at a time when SGA hadn't ascended to what he's ascended to yet, because nobody saw this coming and how great he's been. As great as Cade Cunningham has been, he's been one of the best playmakers and scorers at the guard position this year. I can't help but feel like a lot of the Pistons that have helped made this season happen have kind of gotten overlooked, and this has been the Cade show, because Malik Beasley is a 6th man of the year candidate. And I think Malik Beasley, you can argue, is a 6th man of the year, and he means more to what the Pistons do than what Peyton Pritchard means to the Celtics because of his hot shooting and what the spark plug that he is. I mean, I remember back when I was watching the Pistons versus the Celtics, and Malik Beasley was the best player on the court, you can argue. Asor Thompson, him coming back and his defense, and Jalen Duren's continued improvement as a rim finisher and getting much better as a defender. And I feel like this guy is always mentioned in a negative light, but Isaiah Stewart is top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. He is an elite defender, but he always gets talked about because of his antics, because of his fighting, because of technicals or suspensions, but he has been huge. And a lot of the young players that the Pistons have had that we have been hoping to develop for the past couple of years now, it's all come together. So not only has it come together for Cade this year, but it's come together for Ivy before he got hurt, for Stewart, for Jalen Duren. Malik Beasley's playing the best basketball of his career. JB Bickerstaff, I think, is firmly in the coach of the year discussion. He probably won't win it, but for this historic of a turnaround, I think this has been an entire organizational change for Detroit.
I agree with everything y'all said. I'm just happy that Cade can say this and have some support. I've been a Cade Cunningham guy for a very long time. And yeah, I remember when motherfuckers were saying Scotty Barnes and Franz Wagner. I remember. So I ain't gonna say too much, but even with a Victor Wembanyama being in his age, like Giannis was a guy that was supposed to stop a lot of shit. Like, I feel like if we was doing this years ago, we would have said the same thing for Shea. Like, man, Shea can be good, but you still have a Giannis that'll be around.
That's
so
true.
It's like the best player conversation, it be changing and shit. And you one injury away from some like being disregarded. You know what I'm saying? Like Embiid.
Yeah.
We damn near forget Embiid is in the conversation of some of this shit because we just don't see him on a consistent basis. And you have a particular year or 2 or a 3 year stretch, like Steph Curry. when Steph Curry was dominating the NBA, was he the best player in the NBA? I don't know if everybody was in agreement, but it didn't matter because he was the MVP. And I feel like Cade Cunningham can be in that, even if it's like Victor Wembanyama is the overall #1 guy. We still like this dude, Cade, and some people are still going to take him. When Steph was doing his shit, LeBron was still in the NBA. LeBron was still the guy that everybody was saying is still the overall best player, but Steph was still in the conversation. KD still existed, but Steph was still in the conversation. And I think Cade is one of those. But again, I don't have too much to say because I thought that 4 or 5 years ago as well when he was going into Oklahoma State. So, shout out to Cade and shout out to Detroit, man. I really fuck with Detroit and how they play.
Yeah, every elite athlete needs this type of mindset. The Pistons are a franchise that hasn't had a winning season over 500 in 9 years. They haven't won a playoff series since 2008. And Cade gives them a chance to change both of those things this season. Obviously, this team has, I think, a lot of underrated aspects going to the playoffs. But Cade is the engine that gives them a chance in every single matchup with how clutch he's been, how consistent he's been. And the biggest thing for me is that when you have this conversation, I think you guys highlighted a great point that, of course, you got Wemby, Shea, Luka, but in 2011, not too many people thought, and even 2014, 2015, when Kawhi Leonard was winning Defensive Player of the Year, that 5 years later, he would have that case when he won a championship in Toronto being the best in the world. So I think for Detroit, having this type of franchise player that has that type of mindset in this Eastern Conference where it's a little more top heavy, it gives them that X factor that I think every single team needs. And as far as this season goes, you have Shea, obviously, who's a lock for first team All NBA, but alongside him, you could have Cade in first team, and I don't think anyone should bat an eye at that because to me, he's a lock for second team. And with how much he's done on the offensive end, the production, when it's really year 3 for him, he played 12 games in year 2. I feel like having him first team All NBA is a pretty impressive thing, given last year this team won 14 games, and he is a lot younger than a lot of us kind of tend to think.
Who would you rather have to build your franchise around, Cade Cunningham or Anthony Edwards?
Give me Cade. Like I said, y'all know how I felt about Cade for a long time. Joel, you more specifically, because we've been on the show for a little bit longer. Give me Cade.
I was there. Don't forget that.
Well, no, this was before. I've been watching.
Oh, you were talking. Well,
Mount Verde. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay,
I've been watching this zoo for a long time. Listen, Cade, Ant, I understand taking Ant. Ant's that type of good. I think Cade is getting into that conversation. I think Cade is walking himself into that conversation where he's that type of good. Obviously, he doesn't have the same playoff resume. I'm 100% with you. If that's your argument, fair. I think people were putting SGA in different conversations before the playoffs. I think Cade deserves that type of recognition where he gets to be put in those different type of conversations because of what he's doing with Detroit. I think what he's done with Detroit is kind of similar to what Ant did with Minnesota or John Morant did with Memphis, like just uplifting those type of organizations to where they were not bad for a long time, but they were bad, and then they kind of get forgotten about. And with Detroit, it's a little different because they've been bad for so long that you just lost that spark in Detroit. And with Cade, he, like I said, we go game by game. I think it's really close. I think the playmaking gap is there. Obviously, Ant's a better three-point shooter, but Cade is no slouch at the three-point jumper. The mid-range game, I'd give it to Cade. I think Cade works really well in the pick and roll, really well in the mid-range. I think as a defender, Ant-Man got it. I think as a finisher, I would still take Ant-Man. I think it's really close if you compare their games, but obviously Ant has a little bit more seasoning, more resume filler. So I understand taking him, but I'll take Cade.
My favorite questions are the questions that there's no wrong answer. That just shows how great both Cade Cunningham and Ant-Man are. I'd lean Ant just for the playoff success, but again, that has nothing to do with what Cade has not been able to accomplish yet just because of the situation that he was at. But to be fair to Ant-Man, there's a reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves were the team to get the #1 overall pick as well. They had to be bad enough to go out there and get a player like him. So he has raised their ceiling tremendously. I think, again, there's no wrong answer here. Cade has just been that great. I would lean Ant-Man.
I would love to answer this after the playoffs.
I respect that answer too.
I'm a big Cade Cunningham guy, but what Anthony Edwards is able to do in the playoffs is an entirely different game, and I can't wait to see Detroit play in the playoffs because a lot of teams are going to shrink that floor a little bit. A lot of teams are going to try to try to get Cade Cunningham to turn that ball over, like we saw some of the issues he had during the regular season. They're going to play into the fact that nobody else on that team, especially with Ivy being out, Dennis Schroeder here and there, but nobody else is a threat with the ball. You're okay if Tim Hardaway Jr. is creating on Malik Beasley. So I can't wait to see the playoffs. The thing that Ant has over a lot of players, though, is that he can get you 40 and he doesn't mind going to guard. And it's just something about a clutch gene in a playoff series where everybody is watching and the other team knows, your team knows, the fans who are watching know you're getting the ball, you're making something happen. And he's just one of those guys. That's something that even like you can't even hold against a person if they don't have that. Like, you can't be mad that everybody don't have a Kobe Bryant type trait. That's just some shit that you probably got to be born with. Because you got to imagine every player in the NBA works on it. They're working on the shots or whatever, but to be able to deliver on that stage where everybody,
heart's beating.
Yeah, everybody knows it's game 7. Everybody knows Anthony Edwards is going to get the ball. Everybody knows the opposing team is putting together an entire game plan to make sure anybody else but you can make something happen. And he has shown us at a very young age that he can deliver. And I just can't ignore that. So I'm going to go Ant for now, but don't be surprised if I seen something in the playoffs that made me revisit this. And I think that's okay for Cade. If the answer is Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards we're not talking about some little player. Like,
slouch,
he's one of those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way because consistently in the postseason, we've seen Ant deliver as a scorer. And I think the shooting with him is so sensational. We've seen the regular season now that it, to me, right now is a very narrow line. And Cade has to match that level in the postseason. Once he does, I'll be comfortable going with him. But I would say until then, I'm going to have to respect and credit Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards is an elite defender. He doesn't get enough credit for that, especially his rim protection. I feel like there are two guards that I've seen protect as well as him at the rim, or I'll say 3. Dwayne Wade, Anthony Edwards, and Derek White is a great rim protector.
Shout out to you.
Shout
out to you for acknowledging that.
Yes, but if we're talking about like all time, like it might be Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, and Edwards. And SGA quietly is averaging a block per game. So he also deserves a shout out because he's an elite.
Anthony Edwards get game winning blocks.
Yes. Yes. You know what's so weird about Ant is that he delivers in clutch moments, but he cannot deliver at the buzzer.
Shot, literally.
He has yet to hit one, but this year his improvement as a shooter, his improvement reading double teams and being a passer, him and Rudy Gobert, I think, are a top 10 pick and roll duo in terms of points per possession. So Anthony Edwards has developed his game all around. And I would go Anthony Edwards, but Cade has made this something I have to think about. What about Paolo versus Cade? Pierre, I feel like these are both your guys. Paolo played in the playoffs last year. Even with the playoff series, are you still leaning Paolo with the playoff series, or do you lean Cade?
Yeah, I'm probably going Paolo because in every single instance of that series, he had every reason to fold and not do what he was supposed to do, and that was his first playoff experience with a team that could not shoot the ball at all from the perimeter. And he was like, fuck you, I'll be the one that can make some threes. Yeah. And again, that was a good Cleveland Cavalier team. They had the size to kind of swallow him up there, relax. And then nobody else was a threat from around the perimeter, which I just feel like I understand Paolo isn't everybody's favorite, but to me, mismatched guys like him just don't grow on a tree.
Yeah,
to be 6'9" and have the physical body he has with the mid-range shot, being comfortable shooting the threes, playmaking, can handle the ball to where he's receiving pick and rolls, could be a screen setter, can pop, slip, finish at the rim, finish through contact, get to the free throw line at a decent rate, or even above decent rate. That's a real problem to me. The other hand on that makes this tough is I love positional size at the point guard position, which is why they're pictures and figures behind me of Penny Hardaway, and I love tall guards who can control the game, and I think these playoffs should make it an even better, interesting conversation. But again, kind of like the Ant thing, I just need to see what Cade is going to do. I do think Cade is going to have a really good playoffs. I don't think the Pistons are going to win a series of whoever they play against because they're just not there yet. And I don't think that their season needs to depend on that because they just tripled their win total. But yeah, as of right now, give me Paolo. Give me Paolo.
I respect that a lot because a year ago I felt like everyone was going Paulo, not everyone's going Cade, and there's no middle ground in that conversation because so much of what made Paulo stand out is the physical tools, which I feel like he hasn't fully tapped into yet because of how young he is. And these types of conversations, especially, we kind of overlook maybe the fit where the Magic had high expectations this year, the Pistons didn't, and that kind of warps our perception a little bit. So I'm torn as well. I think it's a matter of Paulo having the right situation, the right supporting cast, because when I watch him, it reminds me a lot of like if Jabari Parker stayed healthy throughout his entire career, and you kind of got to see him as a young player, but then Paulo's more willing as a defender, and I think has more as a playmaker. So I'm also torn between the two. I'll credit Cade with the season he's having. I'll go with Cade now, but it's easily a conversation. It can change any given year.
I also think people were being unfair to Paolo Banchero, who started the season off unbelievable. We thought we were about to watch a first-team All-NBA player. He was just coming out that dominant. He gets injured with the oblique, and he has to miss an extended period of time. Now the new shiny toy is Franz Wagner, who's going out there, and he's dropping 28 a game, and he's shooting the lights out of the basketball, and they're winning basketball games too. And the two of them can just never sync up with one another. I think that's been the unfortunate part for the Orlando Magic, especially talking about this season where you get the highs of Paolo, you're not really getting Franz at his best. Paolo gets out. Now we see Franz playing unbelievable basketball, and now fans want the ball in Franz's hands more. And then now we're at a point where, again, now Paolo is back playing great basketball, and Franz is struggling to shoot the basketball. I think an unsung part of that, too, is Jalen Suggs has been hurt, too. They don't have their guy on their perimeter, and he brought the only shooting that they had last season. Really wasn't that great of a shooter this season when he did play, but there's just been such a strong lack of consistency with the Orlando Magic, and I think that that's really clouding people's judgment on who Paolo Banchero is as a basketball player. I say all that to talk to
Don't forget how the playoffs was. You know, I just referenced Paolo's playoff. Then everybody talked about the game 7 for Franz where he shot 1 of 16 or something like that.
He struggled, no doubt.
So and, they just, I don't know, because I like them both though.
Agreed. That's the one part about the Magic that I like. I really genuinely like both of these guys' games. It's unfortunate that every single time you talk about them, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum come up because people wanted to break them up because they didn't think Jaylen Brown could be the guy that he obviously ended up becoming, where they were able to win a championship. It always has to be 1A, 1B.
23, 12, and 5, Paolo. 16, 4, and 2. Franz, they doing anything right now. Granted, they playing the Wizards, but
but that's another thing too. Franz will go out there and he'll have a subpar statistical game, but you see the plus minus, and then he has a great plus minus, and then Paolo's plus minus is nowhere near his, and people start to use that to put the two against one another. I think they have a great duo going. I think they just need to do a better job of surrounding pieces around them. Like I said, I say all that to say this is a very close competition between the two players. You can't go wrong with either. I think Paolo, for what he showed me in that Cavaliers series, where he is going up against Mobley, and Mobley got the upper hand a few times, he showed in that big moment that he was out there and he could ball with the best of them. I'd slightly lean Paolo, but Cade makes any conversation a close one.
Yo, Drew, no funny. Your Yankees just won me $534.
Let's go. We are going stoop right now.
Your pitcher, I needed him to get 5 strikeouts. Then
you took a risk there because Carrasco.
No, I had to look it up. Apparently, he kills Arizona. Apparently, when he plays Arizona,
research on you.
Kills Arizona. Jazz and Aaron Judge hit.
You took them to hit homers?
No, to just hit.
Just get a hit.
Yeah. Came up homers. I'm good off that. I don't know.
You would have cooked. Judge and Jazz both hit home runs.
Jazz on my fantasy.
I should have just risked it. Damn.
I sold. We passed on him. I regret it. He's
I'm going with Cade.
So much swag.
I'm gonna go with Cade. I like Cade more.
I get that too. Not surprised.
I think the conversation with the Magic and Paolo and Franz, observing it more, I feel like when are we gonna start holding the coaching staff accountable for how bad the offense is? Their shooting is terrible. They shoot 31% from 3, which is abysmal. Even if you look at 20 years ago, teams they
No,
shot
there's
better than
nothing
that.
good about it. It's terrible.
But KCP went there and forgot how to shoot.
Jokic.
They really haven't been able to develop anybody as a shooter. Like yes, Jokic obviously plays a huge part in that. I just look at their offense and I think it's very vanilla and bland. I don't really feel like they use
Can I give you pushback?
Paolo and Franz the best way. Yes.
How do you go about that as a coach?
That's a fact.
Because it isn't like they brought in shooters and just nothing's happening. They brought in KCP, but we can all agree, even if KCP shot better, it wouldn't have changed shit. One person doesn't change it. They don't have the roster just doesn't have anything that correlates to that. I don't know what's stopping them from getting an Anthony Simons type guy.
Thank you.
But I look at the roster and I'm like, I'm not saying Jamal Mosley doesn't deserve anything, but it's just hard for me to pinpoint because I look at the roster and I'm just like, where are you supposed to get that from? Anthony Black, y'all drafted with a lottery pick. He never projected to be some outside shooter.
No.
Cole Anthony, his entire career from high school to college to NBA is hot and cold. KCP was supposed to make some shots. He didn't deliver.
Jet,
that happens
I
in
guess.
the NBA. Jet, who just can't get minutes, or wasn't getting minutes.
Yeah.
I just don't know where you're supposed to get. And even when you got Jet, he was still so young that you wasn't going to throw him in a fire.
Nah, facts.
Yeah, they're in the
So it's
minutes.
like, I don't know,
You
man.
can't project that stuff because Wendell Carter Jr. dropped off from 3-2. He's like at 23% this year. So he can't shoot either. So you can't project that stuff. But at some point, it's like you have to do something about it. You brought in the players that you thought could space the floor. That hasn't worked out. We see this with all teams all the time. If they have the star players, maybe things are working out and things are fine. Last year, I thought the Cavaliers were fine. They made the second round. They were hurt. They gave the Celtics a hard-fought series when Donovan Mitchell was healthy. They still decided to let go of JB Bickerstaff and bring in Kenny Atkinson. And JB is a great coach, and we see what he's doing with Detroit. At some point, you look at the Magic, whose their entire identity was built off of defense. And even when the Magic were good, they were a terrible offense. It's just multiple seasons of bad offense that maybe you have to start looking for somebody else that can boost up the offensive philosophy, because you're not moving off from Paolo and Franz. Like, those two are locked in for the future. They're going to figure it out, and you have to bank on that as a small market team. But they have to do something else to try to get it to work, because the spacing in the offense is it's laughably bad. For having two players as good as that, it's so bad.
It is. The Pistons, though, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., Tobias Harris, that was a front office organizational point of emphasis for the offseason. Now, if the Magic did that and there was no type of progression, I would be thoroughly with you. But until the front office makes that commitment to an area of improvement that we need, they have to be held accountable as well.
Because P, I'm with you. But as I hear Joel, I understand the thought process, because, again, they've made moves to try and improve the three-point shooting. Suggs was supposed to continue to be a strong three-point shooter. Maybe 41% was unrealistic for him to sustain over his career, but 37 and above, the way that he struggled this season shooting the basketball, I don't think we anticipated that. KCP dropping off the way that he's dropped off, we weren't anticipating that. Wendell Carter not being a great three-point shooter.
We anticipated. Wendell Carter has not been that good of a player, and especially shooter, for years.
And last year, Isaac was good, but he's never been a good shooter.
The thing with that, he's always hurt, so it's a small sample size.
That's
so,
true. Wendell Carter's
like, to me,
hurt.
if in the offseason, if I called the Suns and I was like, yeah, I'll trade you Jonathan Isaac for Grayson Allen, I think I'd do it. Like, he offers great defense, but I need shooting. Like, that's what I need.
I think, and Drew, I think what you're missing in your point is, yes, Jalen Suggs did have a good year shooting, but the part we miss about shooting is the respect level. Are teams really respecting Jalen Suggs' three-point shooting? I don't think they are.
Not when it's
I think whether he is shooting the ball at a high clip, you're still living and dying with him hitting that three ball. Like, teams are still like, we're going to give him some space. We're going to still leave him off, like that type of vibe. And I think even though you can have a good year, same thing with Wendell Carter Jr., like, he can still have a good, like, I'm gonna use Jaren Jackson, because we were talking about him the other day. I'm gonna use Jaren Jackson for an example. Jaren Jackson can have moments where he's shooting the ball at a high clip, but teams, like from what I watched from Memphis, teams still don't give him that full-on respect from the three-point line to where they're completely closing out. You know what I'm saying?
I get where you're
Like,
coming from.
with Jalen Suggs, yeah, he could have improved. Even Cole Anthony, he could have improved slightly. They're not going to still have that respect from other teams.
41's high, though. I only say that where, again,
That's
you're going to
outlier,
close
though.
out. Yeah, 100% agree with you.
Even in
but that's
college,
what,
when we projected him to come to the NBA, that's what I'm saying. It has to be a collective front office thing. To pinpoint that on coaching is just a little harsh for me because as an organization, y'all have went out and drafted and acquired players who we never looked at to do. Like, that was a part of Jalen Suggs' scouting report when you drafted him. He's going to be downhill. He has positional size. He has the tools to be good defensively. Jump shot is inconsistent. Jonathan Isaac, jump shot inconsistent. Wendell Carter, constantly hurt, undersized. Hey, at his best, he'll be able to knock down a shot. But to Real's point, he's never like, oh my gosh, go get Wendell Carter.
Fact.
Gary Harris, respectable, but you didn't bring him in because of his outside shooting. He's a vet. He can guard multiple positions, and occasionally he can shoot and knock down some jump shots. KCP is the only name that was like specialist, 3-and-D, should be around above league average, 38-39% from three. And who knows, maybe next year KCP is a 41% three-point shooter and he just had a really bad year in that first year in Orlando. That's a possibility. But again, my point is, even if that happens, it won't change the entire thing of the Orlando Magic offense. So until they make a commitment, like Joel said, of saying, hey, we've built this identity on defense, but we can't reach our fullest potential or something that makes us satisfied with this. So you have to give to get. You may have to give up a little bit of that defense in order to get back a Grayson Allen, an Anthony Simons, or whoever, because just the defense ain't enough. Even Franz Wagner, one of your best players, it ain't like Franz Wagner is like
he's not far
run him off the line. You more so guarding him for his drive. Paolo Banchero, the same thing. He's showing us that on when the game's on the line, he's willing and able to take them and make them. But everybody is still, to Riv's point as well, if you have to give a shot to the Orlando Magic from their best players down, it's going to be the three-point shot. And until they bring in the talent, or at least attempt to bring in a talent that says we're going to make you pay,
respect us,
then you can't. Because every team is doing that against every team. Every team is saying, hey, we have to figure out what we're capable of living with. When we play the Nuggets, we're living with anybody but Jokic beating us. But the Nuggets were so good that they were able to get a Michael Porter Jr. They got a KCP those years ago. They have a Jamal Murray. Those guys will beat you in 7 games in a series. Nobody on the Magic. Me and Joel lived through it as Knicks fans. RJ Barrett shot 40% from three. Nope. I kept telling everybody it doesn't matter because nobody's going to look at him as a 40% three-point shooter. It was just cool that he did it.
Randall had a Larry Bird 25, 10, and 6 season. So yeah, like, you know, I feel like it's kind of a dilemma that the Jazz got themselves into when they built around Gobert and they had Mitchell and Rubio and Crowder, and they shifted and they got Conley and Bogdanovich, and they went more into an offensive philosophy. I think that's number one. Exactly. That's number one for the Magic this offseason is we already have enough non-shooters with our 2-star players. We have to just surround them with dudes who can shoot the ball. Kind of like what the Pistons did. You don't have to get star players, but just guys that can knock down an open shot and it's respectable. And there will be people like that. Pierre, I want to get your take on the MVP.
Before you say this, my number one guy for Drew to make him happy, because it brings everything together.
Let's hear it.
I'm mad because I seen somebody else who I respect in the draft world say this before I got a chance to say it publicly. Jace Richardson is an Orlando Magic guy, is one of the best fits I see in the draft. I was mad because I think who said it? Kevin O'Connor may have said it, and I was like, now when I say it, it looks like I'm saying what he said, but I had
that'd be an amazing.
Jace to the Magic would move me.
They missed on Kobe White. I think that's the draft.
I'm letting it be known wherever Jace goes, I'm packing my bags. We're going.
Damn, you like him like that? What up, Riv?
Nah. It's the lefty. I honestly, I just love lefties.
A lefty shooter gets true.
What's up, Riv?
He's falling asleep. I got to put him to sleep.
Go ahead, bro.
You know,
You're good. Go do your thing.
I got to put him to sleep. Get him something to eat before he go in. 2 hours, we good. Pee Wee, my dog. You know, let me know how it is, how it is. Drew, love you. Love your Yankees. Joel, love you. Love your Knicks. John, Hines Ward, baby. Hines Ward. Hines Ward, baby.
Riv and I have a love-hate dynamic.
Of course, you're my dog, man. I'm gonna catch up, man.
As somebody that watched old school football, Marvin Harrison Sr. or Julio Jones?
Marvin Harrison.
We had a debate about that on the last
Now
we
listen,
pre-recorded some content.
that could be what do they call it?
Nostalgia?
That's what it is. Because Julio Jones is a fucking monster. He's a video game character.
That's what I
like,
said.
Yeah, but like nostalgia makes me want to say Marvin Harrison.
I'm
And I don't like
my
the,
goat.
I don't
Their
like the
peak
I didn't like
seasons-
the Falcons either. But
Yeah, their peak seasons are similar.
okay, that's good to hear.
Julio Jones had he averaged 100 more yards per season, but Marvin Harrison Jr. in his best 6-year stretch compared to Julio, it was like 77 touchdowns to like 37.
He did it with Reggie Wayne next to him, Dallas Clark as well. We got to come on, man. Julio Jones, they never played with that many weapons with Matt Ryan, right? Who was it? Roddy White?
Roddy White was
White.
a dog.
Tony Gonzalez.
No disrespect. Oh fuck, I forgot about
No,
Tony.
but that was old
Gonzalez
Tony.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was
old
but
Tony.
old Tony was still a dog.
He
though.
was a dog.
Yeah.
He's Tony Gonzalez, so yeah.
Yeah, but Dallas Clark, Roddy, no,
Reggie Wayne, you got it.
Marvin
Austin Collie,
Harrison,
Marvin. No, Austin
Edgerrin
was
James
James.
in the backfield.
You know who I'm
Edgerrin
talking
James.
about? Edgerrin James and Brandon Stokely. Shout out to
Brandon
him. Brandon
Stokely.
Stokely
They
had
also
1,000
had a
yards.
guy from Ohio State, Gonzalez, number 11. What was his first name? I forget his name. He was there when he was a young
I know who
player.
you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, he was a dog at Ohio State. And he went there. He used to run the slot for them or whatever. But yeah, that's a lot of weapons to have the success Harrison had. And again,
Peyton.
Football is y'all shit. I would never try to cross over with y'all, but I did watch a lot of football. Then Marvin Harrison with the turf tape on the elbows. Come on, man. Give me Marvin Harrison.
Nah, he's a beast. So MVP
Is his
straw
son
poll-
going to be like that? I know his son.
No.
Oh, okay.
At least I don't think so. I just think he doesn't have the vertical separation downfield. He's a little bit slow and he doesn't attack the ball all that well. I think the hype he had coming in was that he was going to be like the best receiver in his draft. I think he's third and you can argue fourth. Malik Neighbors from the Giants is better. Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jaguars is better.
Please don't say Lad McConkey.
And Lad McConkey from the Chargers is a beast.
I'm familiar with Lad McConkey, but damn, over
Come on, Joel.
You're definitely low on Marvin.
I'm not low on Marvin, but Lad McConkey as a rookie, he set the Chargers franchise record. He had the most receptions by a Chargers rookie receiver and yards, and Keenan Allen set those records.
You just know sometimes
Anthony
you just
Gonzalez.
know your boy.
Anthony Gonzalez.
I should have said it. It doesn't matter. You know your boy, like what he's going to say before he says it. When he said you could argue 3, I knew it wasn't about to be no Roma Dunze. I knew it was going to be Lad McConkey.
Lad had a special season.
What do y'all think of? Do y'all agree with Joel? Just up to
in
the
terms of Marvin?
Yeah.
No, I think it's understandable to have BTJ and Malik over him where we stand right now. They had special rookie seasons. I think BTJ, there's no flaw in his game. He could do anything.
Dog.
He literally can do everything. I wish I went full blown, full tilt the way that I was talking about in pre-draft, the way that he ended up becoming. It's a little bittersweet, but regardless, he was a dog, and I can still understand that process. But Marv, I think I look at him in my immediate comp of like, people love speed, and Odell Beckham really comes to mind when thinking about Malik Neighbors. And I think about Marvin Harrison, and I think about Devontae Adams because they are technicians. They are great route runners. They are great separators off the line. But I understand Joel's point about he's not a great deep threat. He's going to work in that short intermediate. He's going to kill. He's going to get open. He's going to separate. I think it's on Kyler Murray to hit him when he's coming off of his breaks.
I was going to say that. What does Kyler Murray rather do as a thrower? Is he trying to go down?
He wants to get out. He wants to extend. He wants to look for the big play.
He's a sideline shot guy.
They didn't think about that when drafting?
They thought Kyler Murray was Kyler Murray and that he's going to hit every throw, and I can understand, but
the big thing with Kyler is that he can't see over the middle of the field. I mean, he's
so small.
He's 5'10". His offensive linemen are like 6'4". It's hard. So he is a sideline shot quarterback. So he's working the sidelines. He doesn't throw to the middle of the field, and he's not a pocket passer. So unless Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting open down the field where Kyler he has more vision with, it's an odd fit. But I think really what lowers Marvin Harrison Jr.'s ceiling, I still think he's a great player and he will be a great receiver. It's just he doesn't have the top end speed. Like Malik Neighbors is an elite route runner and he's a 4.3 guy. Brian Thomas Jr. can run every route Marvin Harrison Jr. can run, and he's a 4-3 guy at like 6'3",
Oh, he runs a 4-3
4-4.
too. I did not
I
know
wouldn't
that.
know. Don't 4-4.
No,
4-3
you're
might be
right.
pushing
You're
it.
right.
Is he
You're right.
4-3?
Yes, it's around.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, 4-3 guy. Marvin Harrison Jr. is like a 4-5, maybe 4-4.5. Like
BTJ ran a
that's the difference.
4-3-3. He's a demon,
and he's 6'3". So that's the separator. Is like I just don't think the top end physical tools Marvin Harrison Jr. has that, and it shows up on tape because he's not the fastest. So that's where he's like number 3. But I think he'll still be a good player. He might not just be like that.
Who is the receiver in this class?
In this class, the best receiver is Ted McMillan, but he's like a Drake London guy. Yes.
Yeah. I'm partial to Luther Burden. I know people as draft day gets closer and closer, people are falling on him, and I don't understand why. I think he's the most complete of all the wide receivers. Can do a little bit of everything. Solid route, great route runner in my opinion. Great hands, can stretch the field vertically. I really like Luther. I don't know why people are suddenly starting to get low on his game. Like he really doesn't have clean tape.
There are 2 players I'm really high on. One of them is fairly obvious. I think Travis Hunter is the best wide receiver in the class.
For sure.
Like if he played wide receiver only, he can be an all-pro player. I think he's that good.
What would his comp be?
His comp is like
I watched. Now this is the play. I watched him more than anybody.
Is he Odell or is that crazy?
In terms of ball skill, I think it's an interesting one. If he committed the position entirely, I think of CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, I love that.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. He looks a lot like Justin Jefferson.
Okay,
running routes.
Odell and Jettas are similar. I kind of see them in a similar
like Travis
route.
Hunter. That's why he's so rare. Is that I think he can be elite receiver, and he's also an elite corner.
So what is he going to play?
He's going to play both.
He's going to be our Ohtani. He's going to be our Ohtani.
Yeah, I think what he's going to do is that on 1st and 2nd down, if they're running the ball, he won't be on the field, and then on defense, if it's a run play like 1st downs, he won't be on the field. I think they're going to try to keep him fresh.
Now,
I think he will play both.
The way they think so. Aren't coordinators too advanced for that? Every time he's on, they're throwing. Every time he's off, they're running.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you got to kind of work around. I heard a good point from Theo. He told me this, and I felt like it made a lot of sense. At corner, you can't guarantee production. So if Travis Hunter plays corner, yeah, they might not throw to his side of the field, but if he plays wide receiver, he can go for 100 a game, and that's guaranteed production that you're going to get from him. So maybe he might be a better corner than a receiver, but you can guarantee production as a receiver. You can scheme him open, and you can utilize him to win games more so than on defense, to where it's kind of, you got to expect the offense to do something, and he has to make plays that way. But on offense, you can guarantee that he's going to make a big time impact. So that's why I think he's going to play both, and I would lean receiver.
There's also teams early on that if he went to the Patriots, they need to make him a full-time wide receiver.
Yeah. Okay. They got 2 corners already, Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis.
Hey, so Christian Gonzalez, man.
Yeah,
that's a bad man. Motherfucker. That's a bad man.
Ebuka from Ohio State, I think, is kind of getting slept on. But I think he's like the safest.
How do you pronounce his name? I know him, the receiver,
Abuka.
right?
Abuka.
Okay.
Yeah, Abuka. Yeah. So, Pierre, what's your MVP? Is it Jokic or SGA?
It's SGA. It's SGA. And I shout out to Jokic. He made it a conversation. The 60-point triple-double was super, super dope. I think he's a guy that at this point embodies what the MVP is, the most valuable player. But I just think that the season that the Thunder are having under Shea, the way he's doing it, as efficient as he is, as unstoppable as he's been at the guard position. Chet has missed a lot of time, and they've not let up at all. And the Western Conference is what we deem as the tougher side of the conference. They've handled it with ease. He has moments. It's SGA. He checks every box of what you would want from an MVP winner. So I'm fine with it.
What have you thought about the foul baiting narrative?
I get it because of the day and age that we're in, but I don't like it at all. You know, I'm a Knicks fan, so they try to say the same thing about Brunson. And
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Brunson is 5'10", 5'11". I know what they might list him as, but when you're that small and you got a Jaden McDaniels guarding you, people really think Jalen Brunson is supposed to sit at the top of the key and bag his
Break him
stuff into
down. Come here.
Yeah, every single time. No, you're going to use the, your size to your advantage, because everybody else is going to use their size at their advantage. So, I think it's a fine line between being creative, and I think that's what Shai is. Don't get me wrong. I think every player in the NBA has plays where it's like he's baiting, or come on, man. But everybody does that. Every team has a player that is doing that. And can it get a little bad? For sure. But it's not bad enough for me to go around being anti-Shai or say he doesn't deserve the MVP. And hey, it's a part of the game. You want to get to the free throw line if you're a volume scorer. The game is played to score as many points as you can, as easy as you can. And the free throw line should always be, especially for a guard, the easiest way to get points. And it gets the primary defender to the bench sooner, which allows it to be easier for you to score. So how could you not like Shai? I can't believe Shai don't.
You know how it goes, P. You know how it goes.
You're right. He
They
was a guy
don't
2
like
years
to love
ago.
you too long. Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah,
I
I
think
feel
about
like
Tatum was the golden child. People think like he was the golden child. They loved him. He was next, and now everybody hates Jason Tatum. Now SGA starting to ascend. Oh, he's about to take MVP away from Jokic. How could they do that? Jokic, hey, all jokes now. Jokic, bad man. Top 3 in assists, points, rebounds, steals. He has done a great job to make a case for himself. Let's not lie. Of course, he is more than fair to be in this conversation. SGA makes scoring look way easier than it should. There is not a guy that makes as many difficult shots as him and is as efficient as SGA is and has been this entire season.
On a low volume shot.
On a low volume shot, DK, where now, of course, the mid-range game has become obsolete, where he's made it relevant again. And this is not meant to be a shot. I think Donovan Mitchell has been great this season. If it were a case where we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. They have damn near the same amount of wins as the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know they've fallen off a little bit recently, but if it were the case where it was the Cavs, and of course, let's just live in a world where OKC doesn't exist right now, I think that you pair the fact that SGA has been so amazing on top of the team's success. That's the main reason why I look at SGA, and that's the MVP, where if it were like the Cavaliers, where the Cavaliers are this overwhelmingly great team, but you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell who has been great in his own right, but he hasn't been overwhelmingly better than the majority of the field. Now I'm here back on the side of Nikola Jokic is the MVP, but when you have the season that SGA is having, the efficiency that SGA is having, the dominant scoring that he's having, and on top of it, we're talking about one of the best two-way players in the game as well. I think that I am more than okay with SGA lifting that trophy at the end.
Hey, Jokic was so good, it could only be somebody having a season
That's a fact.
Shai is having to win it, where he's being as dominant and the team success is matching. Only this type of season would have beaten Jokic out. So I don't think it's an L or anything for Jokic. Is also a guy who's won it so many times that we lose and count at this point. So I'm just happy that voters fatigue wasn't the reason Jokic isn't going to be the MVP. It was literally an all-time season from a young player.
Also, Jokic would be the first ever to have points, rebounds, assists, and steals to be top 3. So I can understand when at the end it's not unanimous that SGA is not the MVP. Jokic is going to get a few first-place votes because of the season he's had.
Absolutely. And talking about historic, it's not only been Shai, but the team as a whole. You're playing at a 69-win pace right now. If you look at the best regular seasons of all time, it's the 3rd highest winning percentage. Can always change, of course. You can always have a team where off a few losses, a few wins. But in this moment in time, you're looking at a Thunder team where they've been missing a lot of guys throughout the season, whether it was Ihart the starter, Chet for a better half of it. And even with that, they've been the best defense. Shai's been a part of that as a plus, very good defender. And then on the offensive end, we always look at free throws, and Shai's one of the craftiest scorers in recent history. And so there are some things he does that people don't like, but you have to have the perspective. If you're to take free throws away, this is someone that's still giving you 25 a night without them to begin with. And he's making over 70% of his shots at the rim. Over 70% at the rim, 50% from mid-range, and 38% from 3 as well. So in terms of scoring, there's really not a blemish that he has because he's doing everything at a high end to, when it comes to mid-range shooting, a level better than anybody else. So my MVP is also Shai. I think, like you guys highlighted, it's been one of the best races we've seen in recent years. And it's nice to feel like voter fatigue or narratives aren't getting in the way, because Shea's case this year is that special, where you talk about the greatest seasons in guard history. You've got prime Harden, you've got Dwayne Wade in 09, but the difference is this Thunder team is going to win 20 more games than that Heat team. So he's going to win this MVP, and it will be incredibly deserved.
Outside of Steph Curry, every guard that has averaged 30 has shot more free throws than SGA per game when in their 30-point per game season. So he's not even like, when you look at the stats, like he doesn't even follow the narrative where he's like the biggest foul baiter, because he shoots the lowest foul number free throws in terms of everybody that has averaged 30. I love when multiple people win awards. In football, I was a big advocate for Josh Allen winning it over Lamar, because Lamar has 2 MVPs and Josh Allen got his and he deserved it. And in the NBA, Jokic is having a historic season, but so is SGA. And SGA is contributing to one of the best defenses that we've ever seen. And if you would have told me 4 years ago that he would have won an MVP over Tatum, over Luka, I think everybody would have thought that you were out of your mind. But it speaks to how much he's developed in this time frame. And I think SGA has a chance to do something that we haven't seen in a very long time in the NBA. And I think that's win MVP and also win the NBA championship this year. I think he has a legitimate case for it. In other seasons, Steph Curry could have done it in 2016. He wasn't able to. I think he did it in 2015 when he won a championship and won MVP. So I think SGA is on that type of trajectory, and it can happen. It's just a question of whether or not OKC is ready around him, because he's ready, but will they hit their shots? Because we saw last year in the playoffs, they didn't hit their shots.
P, let me ask you a genuine question. Where does this sit for you amongst best guard seasons you've ever seen? And you could answer it broadly. You don't have to give us like, oh, it's the top
7th.
Yeah.
Is it better than 2019 Harden?
This is where I'm going to be completely transparent and completely honest. And I've never said this on my platform or numbers on the board. Just going to be honest with y'all. For me, you're asking for me.
For you.
For me. This is unfair. But to me, some are just a tad bit better.
Okay.
Just because, and this is going to sound crazy. The way OKC was destroying so many teams, I can't sit here and act like I was just locked into every single thing Shea did, because they handled teams easily.
You're not watching 40-point blowouts.
Exactly. So a lot of my attention was there, but I do have firm moments like the Knicks game when we were in OKC. I think they took over and Aaron Wiggins did his shit, but Shea was really, really good in that game. You know what I mean? Like
I'm with you. The Cavs game.
The Cavs game when they had no big or whatever, like
Celtics games. And he showed up to every big game.
Yeah, he got his moments. Don't get me wrong. But I think me personally, I was just a little bit tapped in more into a few others. Like I think from a statistical standpoint and just an overall dominance, this will rank higher than Harden for a lot of other people. But I was there for a lot of the Harden shit. Though the Rockets were dominant, they were chasing the Warriors. And that is a bit of a narrative and a fan perspective for me. That is going to be a little bit more interest for me. But even with that being said, this is still like a top 5 one, because you got to understand, I wasn't around for no Michael Jordan shit.
No doubt.
But Steph Curry, though the Warriors were dominant, it was still crazy to see somebody at his size dominate the game from the perimeter with a 3-point shot. I had never seen that before, so that was still must-see TV. The James Harden one, just sitting at the top of the key, going to work, threes and layups and fouls, mind-blowing. And then the excitement of him potentially taking down the 73 they won the 73, but then they got Kevin Durant. To see him potentially take that team down was crazy. Shea is like top 3, 4. You know what I mean? For me, honestly.
And
the
hearing you
Iverson
talk
season, I wasn't this old, but I was there for when Iverson.
Like I put 2016 Steph over it. 2018 Harden, that was the year where they won a lot of games, but it wasn't his best season, because 2019 Harden, when he averaged 36 and 7.5 assists, I thought he should have won MVP that year. I still feel that way. Giannis won that year, but Harden,
the Russ season, it could
have been Kawhi.
Oh, you're
Harden.
saying that Harden should have won in 2017.
No. I'm saying the Russ season in this
correct.
conversation.
That's what I was going to say.
Statistical efficiency is all going to team success will all go to Shea. We know that. But the excitement of seeing him carry that team with the
talk about
triple-double,
being there, watching it.
We're just at this point, we're just talking as fans, not as analysts who are, from a fan perspective, you're way more. Every game, the last game of the
Yo, I got
season
goosebumps.
mattered.
Facts.
He hit that shot. That is what you want to see from an MVP. And again, I'm not trying to hold this against Shea, because what is he supposed to do? Hey, y'all, let's not beat them that bad. So we
Let's
like,
be
no,
worse.
Yeah. Let's keep the game close for my MVP. No, but like, I'm just speaking from like just being honest. That type of shit, to me, you remember that for a lifetime. I might never forget the shit Shea is doing either. We're talking 2 MVP seasons, but I would never, ever. And I'm not a Thunder fan. Russell Westbrook ain't like my favorite player of all time. I will never forget that season and some of those moments. And I will never forget that the last shot of the season was like that
Crazy.
important for them. And it knocked the Nuggets out of the playoffs, right?
It's just the fact that it was the game
I
that
think that
broke
shot
the
knocked
record.
the Nuggets out of the playoffs.
It was a
too.
game winner, and it's just a storyline behind it of Kevin Durant leaving him, and then him just having an all-time season.
We never thought we'd see another player average a triple-double in a season.
Ever.
Also, we never thought that we would see somebody break Oscar Robinson's record for triple-doubles in a season. To break that record, he hit the game-winning buzzer beater 3 as well. It was just one of the craziest games, craziest moments I've ever witnessed as a basketball fan. And yeah, SGA probably is more dominant than what Russell was. But you want to talk about moment, you talk about Curry, you talk about Harden, I immediately go to Russ. It was one of the craziest, one of the most historic moments that I can remember. And then he kind of watered it down himself by averaging triple-doubles again and again and again. And it's kind of crazy to think that him being as dominant as he was ruined the allure of that amazing 2017 season, which I won't allow.
Everybody just started doing it after that. Everybody was able to get triple-doubles. It was popularized. Harden got a lot of triple-doubles. Now Jokic is doing it. It just, like, at the time, it was like, who's going to do this again? And then people just started doing it again after that.
Yes. Russell Westbrook, 35-foot shot, knocks Nuggets out of playoffs.
Really? That's crazy.
Yep.
I just remember it was the game that he broke the record, that he hit the buzzer beater. I didn't know it was also to knock the Nuggets out. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I think you got to put that season up with this SGA season, even though SGA is having like the team success and efficiency.
To wrap this conversation up, you know what's so crazy? When you have these type of conversations, usually what happens is you have such biased fan base that they'll get offended.
It's the same team.
It's the Thunder.
It's the same team.
They just living so luxurious that it's like, hey, which season do we prefer?
You know, Kevin Durant 2014, Russ 17, Shea now.
Yeah, it's just, they just living so good over there.
Old 3 are the new big 3. Who are you going with? That's just what it is with OKC. But
that is who are y'all going with? I mean, from an individual standpoint, obviously Russ Harden and Kevin Durant, but this new team
I like the new team.
Might win the championship.
Yeah, I like the new team.
They didn't let the old team grow enough. They traded Harden after he won 6 Man of the Year. Like, if they let that team grow, then I think it'd be them, but they didn't. And Westbrook, KD, Harden, that's going to be legendary forever.
The young team didn't have this much either. It's funny, some of the parallels, like they went and they traded for Perkins and whatnot. I guess that's like getting Caruso, but like they didn't have a Hardenstein signing, right?
True.
Like, I'm not comparing Cephalosha to Hardenstein. They didn't draft that well to where you got like a Cason Wallace. They got the Isaiah Joes of the world. That whole team didn't have this much. Yeah. It didn't have this much. Like, they hit on the Ibakas, the Adams, but they didn't have. This team is like loaded.
It's one of the most stacked teams I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. It's great top to bottom. Now we're gonna do these quickly. Buying or selling these NBA stars being on a new team next year. First name up, Kevin Durant.
I mean, I'm buying it. There's no way Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun next year. It's sad, but it's true.
Straight buy, 100% buy.
I'm going by Devin Booker.
I'm selling. I think he's a lifetime Sun.
Boom, same.
I'm going selling. If it happens, I don't think it's going to be this offseason.
I'm selling because after 10 years in Phoenix, this franchise doesn't have an identity and they don't have a future in place to build around him. So I'm ready.
So you're buying.
Yeah, I'm buying him being traded. Yeah, I went back and forth there.
Zion Williamson.
So
I'm this hurts. I'm buying. I don't think that he will be a Pelican. It just seems like they have held on to the idea that he is our franchise. He's the one that's going to take us there, and constantly they keep getting let down by it, even though when he's on the court, he's unbelievable. He's undeniable. I just think that they have to cut their losses and get something in return.
I'm selling. If you were ever going to trade him, you can't trade him when he looks like this.
All-time
Yeah.
low.
So and then you also get like pennies on a dollar for him. So you might as
Exactly.
well just keep him. It's no need to rush at this point.
They got to ride the ship for now.
I'm selling. They could get a top 5 pick in the draft, and you could sell yourself on the talent the team has. So I'm selling. I think he stays in New Orleans. Next name up, Trae Young.
So
I'm selling too. I think he's a lifetime Hawk.
I'm selling. I don't know if he's a lifetime Hawk. Look at the NBA landscape. What is out there that would satisfy the Hawks? And now that De'Aaron Fox is with the Spurs and all, you know what I mean? Like, I guess their Orlando Magic is still out there, but again, what do they have that the Hawks are like, we need to do this? So I'll say I'll sell.
I'm selling too. Giannis.
bye.
This is good. This is
I'm
good.
gonna sell. I think
He's going to be on the
Giannis-
team next year is the question, right? These guys will be on their team next year?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna sell. I think they run it back at least one more year. I am in the belief that Giannis and the Bucks. I just think that I can't see him in a different uniform. I know that he's flirted with the idea, the tweet that got deleted with the Rockets colors. I know he's come out and said if I don't like the direction, I'm gonna be gone. I think he's doing all that to put the pressure on Milwaukee to keep continuing to put a championship contender around him. I think he means too much to the city. I think of Milwaukee, obviously, what more do I think of other than Giannis? Not much. Maybe Christian Yelich out of respect for an MVP, but not even. It's Giannis, and I just can't see it any other way.
I agree with everything Drew said. Listen, when anybody says it, Derek said it on the show, and I was like, no, don't. But I'm just like, I don't want to see it happen. When an organization gives you everything you want, you have success there, you were developed there, you mean as much as you mean to the community, you actually did win a championship too. I just think it's much more safer to stay, because if you leave, you're leaving to go somewhere that will make it easier, and then the championship or whatever comes with it won't be as meaningful, and it's not a guarantee that you win a championship. Hence how we see his teammate Dame. So stay Giannis. I'm a sell. I think the Bucks have to, in order for me to trade Giannis, he has to do some shit that I don't think he's going to do. I would make him have to be Jimmy Butler. You would have to be a villain. You have to go out. You got to go sit down on ESPN. You got to scream from the top of the mountain that you don't want to be a Buck. Because even if your agents secretly say we want to request a trade, I'm still ignoring that. I'm going to say you got to go and say Daryl Morey is a liar in China. You got to show your ass if you want to be traded from Milwaukee.
This offseason, 2 years of no Dame and Giannis in the playoffs, even though we might get it. He might be cleared to play in the playoffs. I was a report I seen from Shams. So I feel like it's one more year. If he does get traded, I'm hoping it's to the Knicks. But I'm gonna go sell. I think he stays with them one more year. Next name up, Ja Morant.
I'm selling. I don't see Memphis moving on from Ja. I still think he means too much to them. I think his ceiling is still too high for them to trade him. And also, your trade end is worse.
I agree with Drew. I also just don't. Where would he go? Like some of these guys you hear and you can think, like you said, Giannis, Knicks. You can think of teams for KD. I don't think Booker is going nowhere, but I even seen people come up with teams that I'm like, if you were going to trade Booker, Ja, I just don't even know where that even. Do y'all have a team that y'all? Yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna sell. The Taylor Jenkins though do make it feel like this organization is kind of pressing. So
maybe Dallas. Maybe I'm reaching
with Anthony Davis. That'd be a lot of fun. And Kyrie, obviously. I'm selling this, but it's a very unpredictable situation because it didn't even seem like the front office had informed the players they're firing Taylor Jenkins. That was something they made their minds up about, and it was a decision where it deserved didn't have anything to do with it for me. So given the way Memphis is moving, I'm losing faith in them. I'm not quite sure if they're going away from Ja the way they have this year, or if they're looking to embrace him. But that being said, like you guys said, it's not really a suitor, so I'm going to sell right now.
I'm selling. LaMelo Ball.
Buy.
I'm buying, unfortunately. I like LaMelo in Charlotte, but at this point, what is this? What are we doing with Charlotte? Like, you can't rely on anybody. You can't rely on LaMelo. You can't rely on Mark. You can't rely on Brandon Miller at this point. I know they're all young, but they've all unfortunately been unable to stay together at the same time. And I know Brandon Miller's only been there for 2 seasons, but that was the dream, to have LaMelo and him both together at the court at the same time balling. We haven't gotten that. I think you got to go out there and you got to move LaMelo.
I'm selling until next all season. I think a year
Ah.
from now will be more of a conversation.
That's fair.
I do believe that Charlotte will give it a little bit more time with how many injuries they've had.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna
I'm
buy
under
it
the
just
same
because
mindset.
every marriage every marriage is supposed to gain something. Neither of them are gaining anything, right? Like LaMelo already, even if everything was going right, he would still be a candidate to leave because he just seems like a bright light, big market type of guy. And his dad has basically said that. But now that you're paying him the money you're paying, they're about to reset the reset. You can't ask this dude to wait 4 more years.
Hell no.
And the way that the Eastern Conference looks now, with the Cavs being the way that they look, the Celtics look the way that they look, the Knicks are making moves. Giannis ain't going nowhere. The who?
Pacers.
The Pacers. Even if the Hornets get it together, where do they go? The best that they're going to do in the LaMelo era is make the playoffs to get beat by the Celtics in 4 or 5 games. You might as well just cut your ties now.
They're in a rebuild forever. And the last name, Kyrie Irving, who has a player option this summer.
Selling.
I'm selling. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he retired with the Dallas Mavericks, honestly.
I think he likes Dallas too. And I feel like you got to at least run it back with Anthony Davis. And that was an organization that took a chance on him. And he bounced back in a major way and really changed his reputation with them. And now the last thing, creating a starting 5 of most improved players only this season.
All right. I did it fun. I gave basic answers and I gave sophisticated ball knower answers. Now, outside of the point guard, let me preface that, Pete, because I know you'd be on me for this. Now, the basic is Cade Cunningham. My point guard is Austin Reeves. I'm sorry, with the way that he's been able to be on ball, the 3-point shot, when LeBron's out, we see him elevate his level of play, his clutch gene as well. I think everything offensively he does, the 3-level scoring, I love everything about Austin Reeves. He would be my most improved guy if I'm going not the basic Cade Cunningham.
That was my point guard. I think Austin Reeves has improved a lot. I think he's made it a conversation of whether or not he's an all-star level player. I think Cade, you can argue the situation around him improved more so than he improved. So that's why I'd go with Austin Reeves. I think there's real improvement from him from last year to this year. And I'll just go with my starting 5. Then you guys can do the same. Shooting guard, I got Dyson Daniels. Small forward, I have Trey Murphy. Power forward, with the recent stretch, I got Denny Advia. I think he's improved a lot. In center, this was tough, but I have Ivica Zubac. It was between him or Jalen Duren, but I went with Zubac.
Joel, I love the respect out of you for Denny Advia. I know where you were last year to where we're at now. I love that. Now I'll just go rattle them off. I have my basic Dyson Daniels. I have my not basic Christian Brown, to go from 7 points to 15 points. The efficiency from the field, the defense that he provides you, got to show him some love. Norman Powell, I'm sorry. There's no other answer. To me, it's Norman Powell. For the power forward position, basic Evan Mobley. But if we're going deeper little cut, I tried to go a little small. Najee Marshall, for what he's been able to do with the Dallas Mavericks. I love the Denny Advia respect. I probably should have put him, but because I know who Denny was last year to this year, obviously, I think he is much better than he was last year. But I've just known Denny to be a really strong player. And then my center, my basic is Ivica Zubac. The bias in me has Jackson Hayes here because he went from a guy that barely was a contributor at all to really being, although situational, a very essential piece to the Los Angeles Lakers defense, but also being such a great block threat for Luka Doncic. But Ivica Zubac, if he wins the MIP flat out, I am okay with it. What he provides on the defensive end, how great he's been around the rim, his touch around the rim, he's been incredible. What a great story that he's been, and a huge part for the Clippers.
Don't disagree with any of the names y'all name. I just went with names that I figured y'all wasn't going to have. Ty Jerome is my point guard.
No doubt.
My shooting guard is Quentin Grimes.
Love that.
It's my guy. My small forward, Julian Champagnie.
Okay.
I love the season he's had with the San Antonio Spurs.
No doubt.
My power forward, Santi Aldama with the Grizzlies.
I contemplated.
And then my center is Gershon Yabusele. But Big Zoo is my boy, man. Dyson Daniels, I'm loving Zoo. All the names y'all name, I'm with. But I just went with one that would not have, so we don't all repeat the same names.
That's a great list because two of my honorable mentions were Quentin Grimes and Ty Jerome.
There we go.
My starting point guard, I'm not going to have this necessarily just being guys that you guys named. And I also want to try to get guys in that I feel like they improved more so than they got more opportunity, let's say. So my point guard's going to be Josh Giddey. I look at his shooting improvement this year. It's been really the right situation. My shooting guard's going to be Norman Powell. It sucks he's not eligible for the award.
Yeah.
That's have more opportunity as well. Small forward, Trey Murphy, honorable mention, DeAndre Hunter. Now he's been sacrificed.
I had DeAndre Hunter too, yeah.
But with the Hawks, it was his best season. He was healthy.
Two Virginia guys.
Exactly, yep. Power forward, I have two names here as well. One got injured, so we didn't get to see his full season. That's Jalen Johnson, but Evan Mobley as well, for just being more confident and aggressive on the offensive end. And then center, there's a lot of guys. I feel like Zubac's a great pull. You guys named him, but two players for me, both in Memphis. Jaren Jackson offensively more efficient from two, better as a ball handler, more confident from three. He's been the biggest beneficiary of their new look offense. And then his backup, one of his backups, I should say, in Jay Huff. He's been very solid.
Another Virginia guy.
36. That's a third Virginia guy from that class.
Or I named Ty Jerome.
Yep.
Who's the other? Who's the fourth? Because you said DeAndre, Ty, Jay
Trey
Huff.
Murphy.
Trey Murphy.
He's not from their class, but
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are great names. I feel like there's been a lot of improvement this year in the NBA. Pierre, thank you for being on the show. Are you
always
optimistic about the Knicks at all? Because I'm not right now.
I'm not either, but I really kind of wasn't to start the year. I just wanted us to be how we are. I wanted us to be really good. And I wanted to see us compete better against those teams. But like I tell people, we haven't. That's fine. I didn't come into the year thinking the Knicks were going to win a championship. I just wanted to see us take a step. And then after, we can kind of retool this in the offseason and try to make that step next year. But it's a good first year. You know, we made a big trade. The team is a totally different team. And now we gotta kind of figure it out as we go. But the playoffs is another sign of how we can judge the year. We got to be strong. We got to be able to beat a Pistons type team or Pacers or the Bucks, whoever we're going to play, because it's super tight. We got to beat them. And then when we do go into a series against the Cavs or a Celtics, whoever, we got to make it respectable. I'm still taking those teams over us, but you know, we're number 3. People are talking about us like we having this failure of a season. We're still 3rd. We're just not on the Celtics level, which I wasn't expecting. You know, like I don't know what people want me to say. And as far as the record against those top teams, it is very crazy and wild. But like I tell people, let's just say hypothetically we won 2 of those games or 3 of those games. Would anybody's opinion about the Knicks change? No, we're just one of those teams that people just love to pile up on. And it is a crazy record. It is crazy to not be able to beat those teams at all. But if we won 2 of those games, I still would pick the Celtics in a series against us.
No
you
doubt.
know what I mean? Like it doesn't change anything. But I'm not optimistic, but I'm taking it for what it is. And unless we shit the bed in the first round, I'm going to enjoy what we're doing. You got to remember, Joel, not that long ago, we talking Moutier, Noah Vonleh, Mario Hezonja. I'm not here to
Junior.
I'm
the Wesley Matthews, DeAndre Jordan.
Matthews, like legitimately DeAndre Jordan. So when people on Twitter, they try to poke at the Knicks and want to make us feel bad or be angry, you're not going to do it with me because we've come a long way. I'm here to be enjoying the fact that we are a good team. We having success. We got some swag. We got fun players to watch. I'm here having a good time. And when it's time to be one of those top championship teams that everybody is projecting us to be, we'll have that conversation. But nobody in their right mind came into this year, unless you were a severely biased Knicks fan and it was saying the Knicks gonna win a championship. Nah, that just wasn't it. So
Alonzo Trier, Damian Dotson,
man.
How's it going?
Oh my goodness! No,
I will always
out the mud for sure.
I will always root for the Knicks. I always got to show them some love. But pick a side, P. I'm glad that we could get you back on the show. Glad that we can link up once again. I'm a big fan of you can't show your guys too much love. keep doing what you're doing. Numbers on the board. Keep going crazy with Teed Up. I have loved Teed Up. Getting the guests that you've had
Thank
on
you.
your show, showing love to those guys, to the role players. Obviously, getting to hear their journeys and their stories. Keep being great. Keep being you. But again, appreciate you coming on and giving us some time, King.
Always, man. I appreciate y'all. I'm nothing but a text, tweet, DM. Well, I ain't gonna say tweet or DM. Y'all got my number. I'm nothing but a text or whatever away. Joel told me y'all may be coming to the combine. I'm hoping that can transpire. We can get that to happen. Y'all can come to the city. We can vibe out. And then after that, I'm hoping y'all make up for last year and we see y'all in Vegas, man. If y'all do come to Chicago though, we got to make some type of content. Maybe y'all come to the studio. We do some YouTube videos or something. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be huge.
So stay in touch and let us know what's going on, man.
No doubt. Tell my goat Peyton Manning I said hello, please.
I wish I talked to him that much. Yeah, I would. If I talked to him that much, I definitely would be like,
If you next time you see him on some bro shit, you gotta be like, yo, Drew, he loves you. That's just it. All straight like that.
I got
he
you.
loves you.
It's funny. The time that I did see him in person and talk to him, we talked about Joe Milton, who got traded to the Cowboys. Yep. From his former college.
Sorry, I'll be able to tell Peyton one day that I love him myself. I'm gonna tell Peyton myself one day, but you be the middleman.
I never knew that was your goal, but the fact that's dope.
That's my guy. The reason I watch football.
Hopefully, we are at the combine. We link up in Chicago. I'm looking forward to going to Chicago and laying on the cement while I'm looking at a body of water.
Hey,
stupid.
It's really dope, but I will tell you this. When you text me, you was like, yeah, we get to try out that deep dish. You're going to try out the deep dish on your own. And when you with me, we're going to get you that thin crust, real Chicago pizza. Really eat here.
Ball.
I just ordered pizza a couple of days ago. The last 25 times I've ordered pizza, it ain't been deep dish. Deep dish is good, but I eat it on an occasion. I think.
Is it more like lasagna?
No, it's not. I hate lasagna.
It's dense.
It's heavy, but it's nothing like lasagna. I hate lasagna. It's good. It's heavy. You definitely gonna eat a slice and maybe be full. Me and my girl.
You've never had deep dish?
No.
Because me and my girl so many times have gotten like a super big ass pizza and we both eat one and be like, why the fuck did we get a large deep dish? Like,
that's a fact. Never really eat it that much.
It's good. It's just that I really think the perception for people outside of Chicago, they think every time we mention pizza, it's a big ass deep dish slice. And for some Chicagoans, that is like some Chicagoans do want to eat it all the time. But for most of us and most of the people I at least know, they call it tavern style, which is just the thin crust. And then me, I'm a real Chicago, and I like to get the Italian beef pizza.
Yeah.
The more meat,
gotta have the meat.
Y'all gotta have that, man. Y'all gotta have it.
Well, hopefully we'll be there, and hopefully we will be in Vegas this year as well. Thank you for coming on the show once again. Keep doing what you're doing with Numbers on the Board and Teed Up and doing what you do. It was a great time having you on the show. Thank you guys for watching. For everybody out there, make sure you click a like and you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time.